welcome to episode 207 of Zapped to the Past. I am Adrian Mills. I'm joined as always by Mr. Graham Raddings. If you haven't listened before, this is a podcast where we discuss games that were released for the Commodore 64. Last week, we looked at our first batch of games from issue 82 of Zap 64, which we are in no way affiliated with, and we rambled lonely as a droid in RoboCop 3, emerged as a full-on turtle's head in Tai Chi Tortoise, and bored ourselves rigid with Big Nose's American Adventure. This week, we conclude our look at the games in March 1992, along with what was lighting up our TV and cinema screens that month. Graham, as we march towards the end of the road, are there any highlights this week that will give us some good cheer along the way?
Well, would you look at that? March 1992 is already coming to an end, and thank goodness for that. What a collection of rubbish it's been. I've never seen so much aimless wandering around a small space full of random objects since I attended a goth night in a Grimsby indie nightclub many, many years ago. So in a month, where the film Hudson Hawk topped the 12th Golden Raspberry Awards, we head to a mysterious alien spaceship that's been handily equipped with rails, so we can scoot around sideways like a crab on a rescue mission in the ambience-free and perfunctory-sounding Space Gun, and then we go for a long, boring, multi-country walk, all while facing a single direction only, and beating up panda-headed assailants while on some kind of eco-mission in the downright stupid International Ninja Rabbits. So that's two games where you're wandering around getting bored. It's a theme we're seeing all too often as we cascade down mediocrity lane. Do they get any more exciting? Well, while I try to figure out how to sugarcoat a dog shit, we head off into the whole-filled future where robots and space cars are all the rage and where a modern Stone Age family can become a modern Space Age family in The Jetsons. Then we clamber around a whole bunch of walled environments looking for bricks to drill and things to collect in the altogether more interesting PP Hammer and his pneumatic weapon, before finally getting into our waistcoats, turning our eyeglasses upside down, and trying to make sense of flickery lightweight ball physics in the disappointing Championship 3D Snooker. You know, snooker was never my thing. Aid and I once went to play a game of snooker, and after a couple of hours, neither of us had potted a single ball, yet we both had about 40 points each. It was a long, boring day, and I have never chalked so much tip in my life. Sheesh. Silence. Silence is all that means it. It's not like
just cricket.
Well, I think it's what I'd say is this. It's not like this highlights. It's quite clever how they've done it, really. The significant proportion of the games are so low that the ones that are crap or less crap actually look quite high. So there's some real random score. This, it's a bit of a mixed bag, isn't it?
The scoring's off the charts. The grade inflation, it's just ridiculous. Make most universities blink at this point.
Get the externals in.
I think we do. I think that's what we need, actually. Zap, at this point, definitely needed external examiners to come in and go, no, are you sure about this grade? Are you sure about this, Mac? I don't think, I think I'm going to need to see all of them for the whole entire year. Thank you very much. Yes. Because this is getting ridiculous. I mean, literally ridiculous.
That and the disproportionate volume of cover that some of these games are getting. I was surprised. I'm thinking, I'll have a quick look at the review, and it's a full page. I'm like, I mean, I know they're shorter space and shorter games, but I was like, but these games would have been less than a few column inches in old money, wouldn't there? In the old Zap money,
they would have, yes, yeah. I'm surprised as well. I mean, like you said, I know there's less to put in here. They need to fill it up. There's less adverts. There's less everything. I mean, the machine is dying a death at this point. I'm amazed there's Commodore format and force go through 93.
What are they even talking about at that point? They're just like, don't know what is there to talk about after that. When you get to a certain point, it's like one or two games out, nothing. I mean, I don't know. I was out of the C64 scene long before then.
So was I. But yeah, it's getting slim pickings in it. It really is. It's and like I said, some of these scores, I'm just like, what are you thinking? Well, it's literally the pig flying through the air, isn't it? In The Simpsons, it's still good. It's still good.
Yeah, and this mileage. I don't. My voice went really weird. Then it's like yodeling. It's unusual for me to yodel. It has to be said. I don't normally do that, which is just an expression of my shock. Well, not all the time. Usually, if I'm in the bathroom, I like to sing in the shower, so I do yodel sometimes in there. But less when it's an exclamation of distress, or maybe it was a distress yodel. I don't know, a dodel. Anyway, that's by the by. What's more important than that bizarreness is this idea that you're right. These scores are just arbitrary, aren't they, really? They don't really mean anything. The reviews don't make any sense either. As I've read them, I'm thinking they're not really saying much. And I guess, like you said, there's only a few games left. What can they do? Their bread and butter depends on people buying the magazine. If they just, slated every game, what's left is no point. So, but it also means that the magazine's purpose is kind of disappeared, really. And
the magazine's purpose now is a deliverer of cover tapes.
Yes, we did. We talked about the cover tape, didn't we? Had Alley Cat on it.
That's what these magazines are now. I mean, the magazine itself is 68 pages.
Goodness me, that's quite thin, isn't it? That's thin and wan.
That's like 34 bits of paper.
I think we had issues of the Target that were delivered that were cheap, that were more enriching than that.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? If Tommy Target was in Zap, you had to find Tommy Target.
It wouldn't surprise me if they didn't do something like that to keep people in there, because, like you said, when the content starts to run low, and like you said, I still can't believe that the other magazines were going on for so long. They must be down to 2 or 3 pages, like a pamphlet by then. I mean, we've got pizza delivery leaflets that are probably thicker than those some of those later issues of that magazine. And then, of course, it's all had a rebirth, hasn't it? So now we've got Freeze and Free 64, isn't it? And the other
Zap's going again, yeah.
Fanzines and Zap's actually going again in its kind of mini format. So
I think I've read thicker. When you go to like holiday parks, or you go somewhere that's a nature reserve, and they have those what to do around the place in the sort of front. You have that stack of information pamphlets. I've read thicker ones of them than this magazine at this point. There's more information in them.
It tells you a lot, doesn't it? Really, that's probably actually true. Probably true. I'm not denying it. It is true. I believe you. I believe you, Adrian. I believe you.
In other news, I was annoyed today. Well, I was not annoyed. I was annoyed last Friday because our roof leaked. So that was annoying.
Oh, yeah.
We had a big storm. And then they came around today and found more wrong. So it cost more money than we thought it was going to be, which is annoying. It's like, God damn it.
Significantly more or disastrously more or more?
Well, they quoted 800 quid for the bit they saw. And then when they came and looked at the top of the roof, it was like, add another 150% on.
Okay, so it's quite a bit more then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I suppose you've got to get it done, right?
I think my maths is right in that. It was $2,000. I was like, oh, God.
That's a kicking killer blow. I suppose once it's done, isn't it? I feel the pain, Adrian. I do.
I know.
Car issues and took it in and got it sorted out. That wasn't a cheap deal, to say the least. No. And then to top it all off, the bloody warranty company tells me, oh, sorry, that part's not covered under your warranty. It's wear and tear. I'm like, you can get wear and tear. Anyway, we're having a bit of a set to, me and the warranty company. We'll figure it out.
Well, I was in a good mood because on Thursday, last Thursday, I get my car past its MOT. So my car passed MOT, and I thought I'd put some money aside for that. I was like, yay, Christmas. And then next day, leaky roof. Damn you, storm.
Yeah, it's just, was it the storm that did the damage then?
No, it's the air out of X-Men. She came along and just trashed it, damn it.
Well, that is random at best.
I know.
Fictional characters, the shit they do.
I know, they just come along to Cleethorpes and they just break things, especially by roof.
Of all the places. I found Wolverine going through the bins again, by the way. I've told him about 10 times.
Absolutely.
You're not having your claws back. You left them in my side of the garden. You were digging out weeds. Thanks for doing that. But you left them there. And I'm sorry, but I'm claiming them. Very handy then.
Yeah. And I've got, what's his face? Cyclops' mask. Can't open his eyes anymore.
Yeah,
he's walking around blind.
He can't open his eyes.
No,
he's
he
got one eye.
He gets the big red beam, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, but he's Cyclops. He's got one eye.
No, that's just his name, isn't it? He's got 2 eyes.
Well, why is he called Cyclops if he's got 2 eyes?
I'm thinking the right one. It's the one with the red beam when he opens his eyes.
But I've just realised that if it's a misname, he's misnamed. He's Biclops.
He's Biclops. The dreaded X-Man, Biclops.
He's on 2 eyes. He's back. The 2-eyed Cyclops. Oh, the other Cyclops are going, he's not. Look, I don't mean to be picky, but if you're going to join the Cyclops Club, you need to have 1 eye.
He needs to have 1 eye.
Rel's here. Rel, you take it up for me. Tell him.
Leela's here from Futurama.
Exactly. Exactly.
Old 2 eyes, though. He's like Frankie Sinatra's brother.
Exactly. The Cycloptic Sinatra. Oh, the Cycloptic Sinatras is a great name for a band, like an a cappella band. Yeah, the Cycloptic Sinatras. I want to see them, and they've got to do the whole gigs with like a mask on, so they have 1 eye.
Dead hard to look down at your guitar, don't it, and play?
Well, see, they don't need to look down. They're masters. They're masters at it.
The masters of they only have 1 string.
That's all they need to focus on. They do 1 string each.
One stick for the drummer, 1 drum.
To be fair, if they pick the right string sort of tuning, that between them all, there'd be a banjo, wouldn't they? So that's quite clever.
They would. Oh, there we go. Should we get to some games?
I think we're probably better because it's taken such a twist, Adrian, such a twist.
It really has. Let's get to some games, and there are some. There's some games this week. Let's get to the first of those. And Graham, it's your pleasure to start us off this week. Tell us all about the most averagely named Space Gun.
Yes, Space Gun. Wow. This was $14.99 on cartridge. There was a disc version as well, I believe. There seems to be ultrally weird versions of this, multiple versions. I don't know what ultrally meant, but I think I was trying to express that feeling. So this is published by Ocean. Of course it was Ocean. Was anyone else making cartridges? Not many, were there?
Nope.
But the copyright is, of course, Tato. Hey, they're back in Tato form. It's always good, isn't it, when we have a Tato arcade? Always reminds me that potatoes are genuinely a good thing to eat, and crisps are nice. Anyway, Tato made this. This was coded on the C64 though by Tom Pinnock. We haven't seen him for a while. He did Back to the Future 2 and Chips Challenge. Do you remember them? All right.
I like Chips. We like Chips Challenge. That was good.
Yeah, Chips Challenge was all right. Chip Challenge was all right. Yeah, Back to the Future 2. That was all right. I remember it being okay.
It's a bit odd. I remember it.
A bit odd, but not bad. The graphics here are by Andrew Pang. That is his name. I'm not saying that with a weird twist. It just needs an exclamation mark after his name, I think. And his name is Andrew Pang. He did the graphics for Wonder Boy and The Hunt for Red October, one of the variants of that.
Oh, okay.
And the other graphic person here is somebody called Chris Edwards. He did The Champ and Super Kid, and he did the other Super Kid games. You remember the graphics on them weren't bad, were they? Weren't terrible. All right.
What's The Champ? The Champ, was that one the Rock'em Sock'em Robots one, was it?
I don't know. I can't remember, and I'm not going to have a look. But go and lemon it up, and you'll figure it out.
All right.
The musician here was Neil Crossley. He did Shadow Dancer. Not great.
I remember that.
And the box art, Bob Wakeley. No, of course, Bob Wakeley's great artist, so no questions there. So what is it? Space Gun. What's it all about? Well, if it's Tato, it means it's an arcade conversion, doesn't it? It was an arcade, Adrian. Arcade. Ooh. It was a 1990 first-person shooter arcade game released by Tato. According to the wiki, the game is set aboard a crippled space station that has been overrun by hostile alien creatures. The objective is to rescue human crew members while destroying the alien creatures. The game lets the player shoot limbs off the creatures, resulting in blood splatters. Space Gun is an arcade rail shooter in which the player views the on-screen action from a first-person perspective. Players use a cabinet-mounted light gun to target and shoot enemy aliens that have invaded a research vessel and abducted its crew. In Japan, Space Good was the second space. I keep saying Space Good, and it's not good.
Yeah, it's a better name than Space Gun.
I'm going to put teeth in. Space Gun. No. Was the second highest grossing dedicated arcade game of 1991. Now, there's a mouthful.
Well, that does sound like Gary Lineker describing space. What's space like, Gary? Space good.
Space good, yeah. Space big.
Earth bad.
What do you mean space is good, Gary? It's not good. Oh.
Space good.
Space gun, you blithering idiot. Anyway, so second highest grossing dedicated arcade game of 1991. It was also a hit in the United States, where weekly coin drop earnings averaged $247 per arcade unit during November and December, which seems like such a niche, arbitrary statistic that I wonder really at its accuracy. I do.
I like it. I like that kind of...
I find myself thinking, are they for real? Are they for real? Anyway, never mind all that, because that doesn't really tell you much, does it? It tells you a lot. That's the arcade. That's what it was about. According to the back of the box, this is what it says on the back of the box, the official box. When Operation Thunderbolt confronts a deadly alien force, Operation Thunderbolt... See what they did there. There is only one way to survive. Check out Space Gun. Rescue the crew of an earthbound cargo ship hijacked by an unknown life form. Annihilate these hideous creatures throughout all levels of your spacecraft using your high-powered weaponry. There is a stunning arsenal of specials at your disposal, such as the Freeze and the Blade, plus many more. That's two, isn't it? Stunning array is more than two.
Many more. We just can't think of them.
Many more today.
The gun of 1,000 uses.
It really is. From first-person perspective, you confront an interminable onslaught. It is the survival of the fighters. I'm sure it's fittest. Anyway, Space Gun gives you the power. Have you got the guts? What does that even mean? Space Gun gives you the power. Have you got the guts? Okay. And then it's on different languages after that. So that's back at the box blurb. Okay. I'm getting the sense that they didn't really have a purpose for this. It's principally the sort of story of aliens, isn't it? I guess, really. It's going to have a story. The actual instructions for the game are even smaller. This is the scenario for the actual instruction manual. Travel through corridors and rooms packed with aliens of all sizes, searching for survivors, and out onto the planet's surface to more dangerous regions. I mean, goodness me. I mean, they couldn't. That's like they asked an AI to summarize it. Absolutely. That's it. That's the scenario. It's like, all right. Okay.
What's his face? Matt Cale would be rolling in his box.
He wouldn't like it, would he? You need the full back. I mean, there's actually a story in the game a little bit more, and I'll come to that. I'm not going to go into too much depth with it, though, because what's the bloody point? I've seen this kind of thing many times. Mm-hmm. Okay, not an arcade really I came across that much, this. And also not a style of arcade game I ever really liked, per se. I've never liked them. The on-rail shooters. I suppose it's got a place in the arcade when it's a cabinet with a mounted weapon and all that. And you stand or you sit side by side with your mate and you just kill stuff. In that arcade context, given the wider arcade razzmatazz for these kind of things, sounds like a cozy but fun 5 minutes for a £1. So I don't know that that's value for money in my book, but for some people's books, that's on the value for money section. And that's fine if that's what tickles your scrotum. Actually, I don't know why I chose that word. I didn't mean that. It's fine if that tickles your fancy. It doesn't tickle my scrotum or my fancy particularly, but that's fine. We're not all out here to like the same things, are we? Some people like different things. Okay, so the game then, well, it's basically, as I've explained, the vagueness of it is exactly that. You've got to shoot the aliens in a spaceship and rescue people. It's a bit like, imagine Aliens, but kind of, if the film Aliens, so they were all on like a slow-moving, I guess, track. In this melange of stuff, there are 6 levels in total. There are mixed scrolling directions of sorts. There's a bit of 3D-ish in there. There's interstitial images, and there's good and bad endings to this. Now, I didn't get to the endings for this by actually traveling through the game. I happened upon them through the long play that I had to watch to sort of get an idea of where it was all headed, which was exactly the same as I thought it would be. So from I guess you call it relatively elaborate loading intro sequence. On a cartridge, I thought it was a bit under-elaborated, actually. I thought there could have been more. Ocean logo pops up, Tato logo pops up. It's always nice to see the Tato logo. It is missing potatoes on it, though. But it pops up and you think, okay, this is good. And then the space gun thing appears and it's got a big sort of alien face, and then the writing appears and it's glitchy and you're like, could polish that a bit better, couldn't there? It's a cartridge game. I paid 15 quid for this. It could have had a bit more polish on that front end. It's a telling thing when most of the Zeppelin games have better front ends than this, and this is 10 quid more on average, maybe even more than that. There's weird music, though. I can't say it's bad, but it's not great. And it's certainly not in keeping with the kind of thing I would have expected for something like this. So it's a little bit... It feels at this point, I'm starting to feel a little bit under-polished, I have to tell you. Now, there's 2 versions of this, which I played. So I played the cartridge version, which I'm guessing this is a cartridge version official. And then there's a disc version. I don't know if it is official,
but it's the cartridge version of it. I don't know. I think the disc version's got it all in, but God knows.
The disc version had more in it and different graphics and different audio to the cartridge version. So make of that what you will. So I've played essentially 2 variants of the same thing. Then they both basically function the same way, but they actually have different intros and different stories. It's very strange. Different music, different vibes. Very weird it is. So you want to start the game. You get the credits and you get a high score thing. So it's leaning into its arcade heritage there. You'll get this weird music. It doesn't make you want to play it, but okay, you play it. And then you'll get one of either 2 things. There's 2 interstitials. So you'll either get the one that says 2039 AD, man begins deep space exploration. However, there are many unknown dangers in space. On a crippled spaceship signaling for help, a new horror is awakened. You'll either get that with a picture of a spaceship. Weirdly, the images that they've created for this don't take up the whole screen. They're just on the top left corner, which is weird because it makes you feel like there's going to be another image going to appear on the right-hand side, like comic panels or something, which they could have done, should have done, and didn't. Weird it is.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
Or you'll get one where there's a guy who looks like he's walking into a lift and it says, monsters, attack the crew. Will any of them survive? Like, random. Those are the 2 ways in. Once you get past that, the game starts officially. And the first part of the game is a 3D view where you're kind of going forwards. Now, these on-rail games often have these levels, don't they? The forwards ones. And we've seen it in Operation Thunderbolt and a few others. The C64 doesn't always do them terribly well. However, this bit, it isn't that bad. It is just grey tiled walls. Very simple, really. There's a UI at the bottom, which is comprised of kind of a UI type view. I guess it's a visor and a helmet or something like that. That's what it's meant to be, like a heads-up display of sorts. In there, you've got your life meter, you've got your weapons. There's like a plip radar, that very, very Aliens. All of this is very inspired by Aliens, essentially. The arcade, equally so. And then you've got your different weapon types and the number of refills you've got for those weapons, because you can get extra different weapons types and you can change to those weapons if you so choose. And then on the main screen, so that's the bottom, I'd say bottom quarter, maybe a bit more. Above that, you've got where the game actually happens, which is quite a large space. Top left-hand corner, you've got the 1-up score. Top and your right-hand corner, you've got the time and number of seconds left in that particular area. Center screen is where the action happens. You have a target reticule. as is the case with all of these Operation Wolf, Operation Thunderbolt games, this is basically Operation Thunderbolt with aliens in it. So I think that's pretty much what the arcade probably was as well, really. Mm-hmm. So you move your target around with the joystick, and you can change weapon, I think, with the M key. I think that changes your weapon. I can't remember what it is. I think it's M.
It says that, but it's not. It's space.
I couldn't remember whether it was space or M, but I know it was one of them.
Well, it says both in the instructions, but I don't know why.
Daft. But either way, you can change your weapon if you want to, which is flipping between the two I've already mentioned. And if you pick up others, there's flamethrowers and all sorts. The bullets all look like giant tablets, though, don't they?
They do.
Like you're firing giant horse tranquilizer at them or something. A bit weird. And the target reticule is quite big. And now I have to say, I'm going to say this, the movement of the target reticule, because it's quite big on the screen, actually is okay. I wouldn't say that it was terrible. It was pretty responsive to the joystick moves. And because it's quite big, it's not like you don't feel like you're traveling lots of screen real estate to shoot at the enemies. But there are other problems with this, which I'll come to. But that movement of that thing isn't terrible. And sometimes these games aren't great for that. I remember this is principally based around a light gun or whatever. So you don't have that on the C64. You use joystick, best you've got. So in that sense, it was all right. Okay. So you'll travel through this level and aliens will come towards you in a 3D way. Or if you're playing the alternative reality version, you get these weird little robotic camera stalk things that drop down that you got to shoot as well. You don't get them in the cartridge version that I played, but you do get them in the disc version. Weird. In fact, there's entire scenery strands in the disc version that aren't in the cartridge version, which is strange. So there's entire enemy types that don't appear in that version. Weird.
Yeah, weird.
So you can either shoot at the aliens that are coming towards you, and they'll get bigger as they come towards you. Obviously, that's what aliens do, isn't it? They get bigger. And they kind of do this kind of thing, one thing in this game. This game is principally built around the game design and principal concept of ooga booga 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 booga. So the aliens will come towards you and go ooga booga 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 booga, and you either shoot them quick enough for the ooga booga to not take too much of your life away, or you don't. Now, they all work kind of the same, these kind of games. However, there is an issue here because the aliens take quite a long time to kill. So they take quite a lot of bullets. And when you get quite a few of them, you can end up losing quite a lot of your life, not because you simply can't, they don't die quick enough. In the arcade, they don't have this problem because you can shoot their limbs off and then kill them pretty quick. And there's two of you. But on the one-player version of this I was playing, you were quickly overwhelmed. Not that it kills you instantly, but you're quickly overwhelmed with the things to shoot at. So anyway, you'll get through the 3D section, and when you get to the end of that, it's only fairly short. You'll get to the next section, which is one of the side-scrolling sections. Now, this will either scroll to the left or to the right. I think it's to the left on the first level, to the right on other levels, and so on and so forth. But this is principally how the game plays at this point. Then it becomes more like the Operation Thunderbolt style side-scrolling type view. So you're scrolling either left or right. Aliens will periodically scootle into view, and then you can shoot at them. They'll come out of the walls. These holes in the walls, they'll come out of those, and you shoot at them. There's various things you can shoot at on the walls, which will reveal extra weapons and things like that, and health for you to be able to top up with. Now, in the cartridge version, there's not a lot. There's scenery in the background, which doesn't look too bad, and the aliens are okay. Multi-armed alien things, green they are. But on the disc version, you actually get more scenery in the background. So you get crates and kind of other things that are in greens and purples and other colours. You don't get them in the cartridge one. Weird, but you don't. So you get more things to sort of look at. They don't really serve a purpose, but some of them do have bonuses in. Or you'll also get people that are trapped in eggs, because of course people have been looking over wet eggs. Well, exactly. Have we not learned from all the things that you know about eggs and wet eggs especially? But they've looked over wet eggs. They've ended up trapped. These are the people you're meant to be rescuing. So the idea is you got to try and rescue people, remember, ultimately. But really what you are doing in this game is you forget about that very quickly and you're blasting. Now, there's a radar in this that serves no purpose because you can only travel in the direction that the game lets you travel. So having a radar is irrelevant because it's not like you can turn around and run away. You're just going to go left. So knowing that there's aliens coming up on your left or right is useful in a game where you can do those things. But here you can only move the target reticule. So it gives you a vague indication that something's approaching you, really. And if you get to the end of that, there's another 3D section, and then you get to another side-scrolling section, and they kind of play out the way. Then there's other sections where you go onto the planet's surface, and it's more of a 3D view onto the planet's surface, where you what look like being bombarded with grey crates. Not sure what that was all about. And there's a few different views like that. Ultimately, you'll work your way through the levels. There are bosses in this as well, which was like kind of a giant multi-headed thing. They all suffer from the same problem. They all take way too many bullets to kill, and so you either get more bullets, and if you don't, you'll quickly run out of weapons, or you'll lose the weapons. If you overheat your weapon by shooting it too much, it also slows down inexplicably, which is a bit of a legacy from the arcade, but it doesn't really work in this context when you're doing that. So it's actually counterproductive to the game's logic, really. And that's principally it. It's a game where you're just shooting at stuff that appears on the screen, either close up, not so close, or booga booga booga. It's a booga booga game, and you're trying to rescue people. Now, it's a bit of a dry game. this because it's devoid of sound effects. So all of this is played out in the game in either version with really weird music.
Yep.
So in the cartridge version, it had this really odd music, but annoying, really. I think it's an attempt at trying to be atmospheric. It's not. And in the disc version, that also had an even weirder soundscape, which was more blippy bloppy and trying to be more atmospheric, and also failed because the key point here in the arcade is the sound effects. Now, I'm not wanting to be picky, but if you think about the film Aliens, just as an example, and you think about the sound effects of the film Aliens, you don't really think about the music. You're thinking more about the machine gun sounds. You're thinking more about the alien screeches when they die. You're thinking about the game over, man, game over. And you're thinking of all that stuff and the explosions. That, if there's ever been a perfect case for a game if you're just going to have one choice and it's sound or music, so many times now we've seen where they've chosen music over sound effects. This was the one bloody time when you needed to choose sound effects over the music. Because it's absolutely critical to a game like this. Not only do the sound effects set the scene of panic, of shooting bullets and all of that, now that stuff that makes Aliens interesting, but the screeches of the creatures dying and all that stuff that's in the arcade is really important to the thematic of that arcade. It's what makes it what it is. If you take that away and put on a fairly rudimentary atmospheric soundtrack, it takes all of that away from the game, and it makes it very difficult to gauge killing the aliens in it, because you need to understand that the screeches and those things that's how you understand the impact of your bullets in that. Without that sound effect, without the bullet sound effect, without the screeching, without all of those things and just music, it makes no sense. It's like playing a game in complete silence. Take the sound effects away from the film Aliens and it would not be the same, would it? Really wouldn't be the same. No. So replacing the sound effects in this instance with the music in every version that I played was a massive, massive, massive mistake, because it not only kills the atmosphere of the game, but it kills the way you play the game, because it's really hard to read the game. It's hard to play it when you're shooting at aliens and you've got no real idea of the impact that you're doing to them. So it feels like they're super tough. You know, they're almost impossible to kill en masse. You get these ones, that little sort of buggy ones that jump onto the screen. I'm guessing your visor of your helmet, whatever it is. And so that means, are you shooting at your own face to get those off? It's just, it all feels a little bit odd. All feels a little bit odd. The graphics in this game are at best an approximation of the arcade in C64 territory. And I guess they look exactly like they are, like you'd expect them to look. Giant blocky versions of the arcade. Now, that isn't necessarily bad, and backgrounds are okay, but that's not really the problem here, because it's just side-scrolling. It's like we played loads of those RoboCop games. Have both got levels like this, haven't they? RoboCop 2, I think, had it in 3. Side-scrolling, shoot at the stuff bits. Operation Wolf did it, arguably a bit better than this. Operation Thunderbolt didn't do it very well at all. This is another one where the graphics are certainly better, but that's not the problem. You know, and the sound effects out there, that is a problem. Problem is, it's boring. Massively, massively boring, which a game like this shouldn't be boring, right? Shouldn't be. Controlling the reticule was okay. Like I said, it's pretty big. You can't miss the bullets, can you? And goodness me, you are shooting the massive, like I said, hockey pucks, really. But without knowing what you're impacting, you can't really gauge when the creatures are going to die, which is a problem that you can't get past. And I couldn't get past it. The 3D parts, they look okay for what they are. For this kind of thing, I guess, is what the best you're going to get in the C64. It's probably the best of that kind of scrolly into the screen stuff we've seen on the C64, or maybe not the best, but certainly it's okay. It's not like it's bad. But that isn't the game's problem, is it? Like I said, it's not it. So, I don't know. It's all essentially an Aliens clone at its heart. And the graphics in the game look like they're from just like some kind of grey and more dreary version. Now, given how similarly this plays to the Aliens UK game that we played way back in episode or whatever it was, that really works. But that was better than this because it had atmosphere, because it did have the sound effects, because you did have a small team, and it had that sense of paranoia that you need in a game like this. It had atmosphere. It had it in buckets. So it's really the key to these games are that sense of dread as you creep around, trying to rescue your team. That's how these games have to work. Now, the arcade is just blasting. In the arcade setting, that's going to work. But at the home computer version, it's not going to work. And so this isn't going to work. This just it's not going to be able to capture that. There's maybe the odd mini glitch in there as well. I didn't see anything game breaking, but the key issues here, lack of atmosphere, the lack of sound effects proper, and that endless, boring gameplay. I mean, God, how many times have we said this before? Take away the sampled sounds and the arcade stylings and all the other stuff, and what remains, however awful, is what you've got. This is mindless. And that's even with an attempt to weave this into a sort of not Aliens IP infringing space, it is mindless. The idea of an on-rail shooter just sliding through 6 levels, even with the level set outside, is just boring when you don't have any of the arcade razzmatazz. So this core thread we're talking about, there's nothing holding you into this game. You don't care about the characters, because in an arcade, you don't need to care about them, do you? It's just wants your coins. Home versions, you need to keep you in the game space, and they're doing it for free, so they need to be compelling. Or at the very least, they need to compel you to continue. Since your progression here is arbitrary and your only point of interface is shooting, well, that's called boring in my book. What about you?
Yeah. Just before I get into what I think, there is actually, I did find the full manual to this, and somebody's missed a bit out on the lemon thing. They missed the first couple of paragraphs out for the story. Because in the year 2039 AD, man has begun deep space exploration. However, throughout the deep expanse of space, there are many unknown dangers awaiting weary travelers and explorers. From a crippled spaceship, a distress call is transmitted. You have received a message. Will you be able to rescue the helpless hostages from the clutches of the astral hijackers? Travel through corridors, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, there's still not much. A couple
Why are they
extra
hijackers?
The astral hijackers.
Yeah, but why? I thought it was aliens. Oh, is that the twist?
I'm just reading what it is. Maybe at the end it's like Scooby-Doo and they pull a mask off the main bad guy. I don't know.
Well, they had 2 years to think of a story. Goodness me.
They did. The other thing, the Aliens game is a good call. Also, isn't this... I mean, you're going around a spaceship, rescuing people held captive by the aliens. It's Alien Syndrome, isn't it? In 3D, in first person.
Yeah, but that was better.
Yeah, it was better. But that's the same thing. Just switch Alien Syndrome to 3D and you've got this. Anyway,
they're all variations of aliens, aren't they?
Yeah. Why did anyone think this was a good idea to port? I mean, who heard of it? I mean, it's quite obscure, I think. But and you look at it and go, oh, yeah, that'll fit well on an 8-bit machine that's 10 years old at this point. No, it won't. It's really, but I've written the same as you. It's really boring and leaden version of the Taito original. And whilst it is better than Line of Fire,
yes, it's true.
Then again, it's still really dull to play. It moves really slowly, and you shoot so slowly. And changing weapons is a pain, and it's never clear just what they do. You just fire something, and a different effect goes off, and I'm not quite sure what weapon I have. Or it's just not very good. The aliens take ages to kill, so you're constantly taking damage because you can't kill them before they get to you.
Nope.
Which seems pointless. The interesting stuff from the coin-op is gone, sound effects, like you said, but also the ability to shoot off limbs.
Yep.
Rendering the aliens not able to attack you. And I was wonder if the arcade was something of an inspiration for Dead Space.
Yeah, maybe a bit of that.
Because it's like to shoot off the limbs, don't you? And the necromorphs do have a little bit of they do look a little bit like these sort of long limbs things coming at you.
I think that's a good line to draw there.
Yeah, it's not bad. To stop, sound effects gone. Just that burbling music. It doesn't feel right.
Nope.
This game doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right.
Nope.
The visuals are blocky. I guess and anyone with any sense could have seen that this was pointless to try and convert. Because what you get is exactly what you expect. When I, saw this was an arcade first-person arcade on-rail shoot, I was like, this ain't gonna work.
No.
And I was right about that saddle. I like the start screens; they're all right. Interstitial screens, they're okay. But like you said, I was expecting them to fill the screen, more of them. It's weird, especially when using the cartridge format. And the weirdness between the two versions is really odd. These games don't work on this machine. It's not powerful enough. It's folly. A folly to try. It's a boring and waste of everyone's time. Maybe Chris Butler could have done it. He's the only person I've seen that could kind of do this at a bit of pace. He'd have probably done character graphics and stuff and moved stuff faster.
He maybe figured something out better.
And I also ask, and here's the thing, right? It's 2-player in the arcade, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
When all you're doing is moving another crosshair around, why is this not 2-player?
Ridiculous. Because it would have taken more bloody effort.
Because, I'm sure you've got nothing. All you have to rent, might have been a bit extra render. Knock a couple of aliens that you can sort of pop up. But you could have shrunk the bullets down because the bullets are massive.
Well, they could have and should have. But they could have been characters. There's a million ways they could have played this out.
But 2 players, I'd have thought, when they're not both on screen, there's nothing else to draw apart from another crosshair. And the game is built for it.
Fundamentally agree.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not very good, is it? It's really boring. 92% though. We haven't addressed the elephant in the room here.
Well, I didn't want to even think about it, but 92% in Sizzler.
Yeah, Sizzler for this.
You're having a laugh.
For this boring, burbling, can't shoot the aliens quick enough, boring single player nonsense. No way.
I mean, is that a higher score than Operation Wolf?
Quite possibly.
Which is crazy, isn't it?
Is this nearly as good as IK Plus?
Absolutely crazy. It's only 1% off.
Or even IK. I think that was 91, wasn't it?
No, it's not. It's just space rubbish.
Yeah. Space. I don't know.
Guff.
There's a pun. Space guff. Space good. No, Gary. Space bad. That's what this is.
Space bad. It's just spud gun, isn't it? It's rubbish.
It's not very good. No. Yeah. Boring name. Boring game. Should never have been converted. Should never have ever been attempted.
No, it should not have been.
No. There you go. Space gun. It ain't very good. Let's move along to our second game for this part. And this is another budget title. that hoves into
certainly
view.
is.
And it's a sequel, Graham, to last year's Ninja Rabbits.
Hey.
This can only mean we now have international Ninja Rabbits.
Good.
Yeah, $3.99. This got 67%.
Goodness me.
It's only one rabbit, though. I don't understand the plural in the title. There's everything else in this game, plurals of everything, but only one rabbit. So it's an international Ninja Rabbit.
It's IN plus.
Yeah, iron minus. Anyway, did anyone want this? Were people crying out for a sequel to the pretty dire Ninja Rabbits? Anyone? No, I don't think so. Published again, once again, here is Micro Value. The coder, once again, is Sparky. He did the first game. He also did something called Turn and Burn, which we mentioned before. Graphics here by Flip. Whoever that is, and Mark Sample. Now, Sample worked on all the Flare games, the Elvira games, Turn and Burn. That was also released by Flare. I'm wondering if Micro Value is the budget arm of Flare or something.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe. And finally, the music is by Adam Gilmore. And obviously, we're very familiar with his work by now.
We are. Oh, Gilly.
I like the first game. There's a decent loading screen, C64 version of the cover.
Yeah, it's good.
A sort of rabbit sort of attacking a bloke, and there's the Micro Value sort of credits going up the top. But when you look at the image, it's very confusing. The background, you've got the Empire State Building next to a giant pagoda and the Colosseum, along with a New York taxi, a guy pulling a rickshaw, and a Ferrari.
Somebody described it to him, didn't he?
I suppose it's international.
Yes.
But, I've never seen those two things together. But anyway, the loading screen is good. The music here is also pretty good, I thought. Fitting the kung fu stylings of the game. I did like the piece of music at the start. This was, front end wise, good stuff. It's a shame this is pretty much the only place it appears as this game, like so many others. It really needed some in-game music. Alas, though, not to be. I mean, not that having some music would have made this any good, but at least it would have made the pain of playing this a little more bearable, perhaps. Once you pass this, you have a very similar title screen to the first game. It's exactly the same. Only this time, instead of a blue background, you have a black background. We still have the animated Ninja Rabbit on the left doing some moves. We still have the same options. F1 for high scores, F3 for difficulty, same font. The only thing to do is press fire. There's nothing else. It's exactly the same title screen. They've just gone, what's the poke? 53280, is it? Whatever it is to do the to do the background. Is that right?
281 and 280, yeah.
Border and background, yeah. Wow, I can't remember. I remembered that. Yeah, so I'm not sure if the first game was a multi-load. I can't remember. I didn't play it long enough to notice. This one definitely is. The first level, though, is already loaded. And essentially, when you press it, you are greeted with a reskinned version of the first game. But before we get to that, there is a story to this. Having destroyed the local factory, the Ninja Rabbit must now travel abroad in his continuing quest to rid the world of pollution. Following further leakages at more chemical plants, the world's atmosphere is now contaminated by the nasty nerve gases. These gases have caused the normally peaceful animals and people to become aggressive, especially towards our friendly rabbit. The Ninja Warrior travels to America, Europe, and Asia to rid our planet of the affected creatures and so make the world a safer place. From guardian angels to demented pandas, Italian thugs to street-fighting dogs, the rabbit meets his toughest opponents yet, and the only chance he has to make use of his newly acquired skills. Are there? I don't know. All that means is we get to play the first game again with different backgrounds and some different enemies. So once again, this is a flick screen beat 'em up, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, exactly. That.
You control your rabbit. You move from left to right through the flick screen levels. There are holes in the ground that you can drop down. You don't have to. You can just keep going left. It's up to you. You just have to get to an arbitrary screen somewhere to the right, and then the second level loads in.
True.
I was like, okay. The controls are exactly the same as the first game, so left and right to walk. Although you always face to the right. Rabbits cannot turn around, we've discovered.
Nope.
Up to jump. And up right to jump forward, and you can up left to jump back, and now you have down to crouch. I'm not sure that might be the addition from the first game. I think it might be. You can crouch now. With fire pressed, you can press up for a high kick, up right to hit with your stick, right to mid kick, down to do a low kick, and left to punch. You're always facing right, always facing to the right. The UI for the game is in the top and bottom border, which is something, I guess. There's a caret for your health in the bottom left. Then your score, then your remaining lives, and at the top are any shields that you might have picked up. Let's scan a bit. The 3 levels you have to make your way through are those shown on the cover. So you start in China, then on to America, and finally through Italy. It's these places. You just know it is what it is. America, I think you go past the White House at one point. Italy's got Italian flags draped over everything. It just looks what it is.
Yeah. No mistake.
Enemies range from anthropomorphic animals, so humans with panda, rabbit, or dragon heads and other things, to normal humans. There's also a cameo in this by George Michael on some screen.
Yeah, it's nice to see him in these things.
It is. It's great that he got into this. He had a little bit of faith. He got into it. And so, yeah, it just comes on wearing sort of a nice white T-shirt and a pair of shorts.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, George Michael. You have to beat up George Michael. Who knew? All you have to do is knock them out. You cannot proceed to the next screen until you've done, because you can't jump over them. You just must engage in the painfully slow and turgid combat to progress.
Yep.
Supposedly, some enemies are weak to certain moves and will die with fewer hits from these, but that's down to you to find out. Who knows? It's all random and arbitrary as far as I could see. There are 2 ways through the levels. Like I said, manhole covers allow you to drop into sewers and caves, depending on the level, but it just retains the same gameplay throughout. In the lower parts, things will drop from the ceiling that you must avoid or take damage up above. Every now and again, things like dragons will swoop at you or barrels will roll across the floor. These must either be ducked or jumped over to avoid taking damage again. After fights, a box may fall from the sky. Kicking this may reveal health to reinvigorate your carrot, or shields to allow you to take so many hits without losing health. Usually it's 4 shields, so you can take 4 hits before you start losing health again. Or they may lead to bad things like skulls that injure you. You never know what is the best thing to do, or score. Kick them or not, it's up to you. Each level ends at an arbitrary point, as I said, and after the third, it loops back to the beginning. They can do it all again. There's no ending. There's no anything. It just loads first level back in again. The visuals in this are the best thing about it, really. The rabbit is as well animated as was in the first one, because it would be. It's the same sprites. It's the same rabbit by the looks of it. The enemies are okay, I guess. They're a bit weird. Whatever. The backdrops are mostly nicely drawn. There's some good shading at times and do vary from level to level, but there's no music in game, which makes things really dull. Now, there is actually a long play on YouTube by someone called Retro Game Man Dan 79.
Okay.
And what he's done is laid the title theme over the gameplay.
Okay.
And whilst it doesn't make the game good, like I said, it does make it better, more bearable, because there's music. So it's a decent piece of music. So, you're at least listening to something while you play the horrible game. The sound effects are just your standard contact hits when fighting. Beyond that, it's the same boring game we saw in the first one. Fighting is dull, there's no strategy other than to outlast the opponent, and the lag on switching moves means trying different things is impossible. Sometimes you could just hold left and press fire, and it would do really quick punch moves. And sometimes it just would do 1 and then stop. Yep. And then do 2 and then stop. And there's really some really badly optimized code in like there's obviously something firing off and something getting stuck, and it's not very well done. So trying different things, trying different moves, combat moves and stuff like it's impossible, because as soon as you're in range to hit them, the enemies immediately swing for you, draining your health at a pace. So there's no option other than just hold a move until they fall over after a few hits. Either back, and hopefully the back punch does thing, or the downward kick. Just do that until they fall over. The pace of this is just too slow. There's no option to block. There's no strategy. Can't do anything interesting. It's like the first one. This starts to degrade very quickly and annoy you within the first few screens. There's no desire at all to progress in this. It's just crap. It's also far too easy to die from dragons. There's bloody dragons who sweep in, and if you're on the right of the screen, they'll just hit you immediately. And I think it's instant death. They just drain your health or your health immediately, because the controls are too slow to respond to ducking. They're just like, so you have time. You have to be on the left of the screen really to get a chance to duck. So a single touch from the dragon drains all your health. You're dead. The same. You don't die from the barrels, but you can't judge jumping over them properly. It's just a pain in the ass because the lag in the input. So the laggy, slow controls, the boring combat, they've not been improved since the first game. I went back and played the first game again. It's exactly the same. Even at a budget price, you wouldn't have been happy to receive or buy this. This is our thanks. This is a Sunday best. A boring flick screen fighter game. A terrible, terrible, boring flick screen, just like the first one. And the addition of an international locations does nothing to make this any better than its predecessor. There's nothing else to say about this. It's the same game with different backdrops and some slightly different levels to sort of walk boringly through. I didn't like it. What about you?
No. Boring, sluggish. Graphics nice, colourful, very colourful.
Yeah.
But this reminded me of a really crap version of Fighting Warrior. And that wasn't very good to begin with.
Yeah, true.
Just that whole walking one direction, fighting, kicking, punching. We've seen this done way better. I mean, goodness me, going back as far as Kung Fu Master and things like that, where it's principally that.
Yeah, well, you're in dangerous territory because you're in Usagi Yojimbo territory.
You are. And, had they chosen to take it a bit more down that road, there's probably a little bit of mileage in making it a bit more like that. But it isn't that, is it? It's just a boring fighting game, a repeat of the same mistakes that they made in the first one. The animation on the rabbit is the only thing that's good, and some of the backgrounds are quite colourful. Other than that, and the music was okay. But as a game, it's rubbish. It's really lame. Boring fighting moves, sluggish response, really dreary. I mean, there was a point when I'd beaten a panda guy up, and then the second panda guy came on, and I beat that one up. And then somehow this dragon thing came across, which was so unavoidable because I'm not fast enough. It's too sluggish to avoid it. But anyway, so it knocked me back. So I disappeared and restarted on that screen. And then there was nothing I just walked across the screen. No, I wouldn't want the enemies to respawn unnecessarily, but it just means that for great chunks of the game, you're just walking through scenery. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing exciting about it. What should be a good, fun, and what it's sold as in the way that it's presented as quite a nice sort of action fighting game, it's not that. This is in the fighting warrior territory, and we've seen loads of other games like this. It's rubbish for that. So as a one-on-one fighter, rubbish. As a Fist 2 variation, rubbish. Like you said, you're heading into Usagi Yojimbo territory with having rabbits in it. No, we're not even in the same league as that. The only decent thing about this, the music is quite good, the graphics are colourful, and the rabbit's well animated. Everything else is stupid. And even the appearance of George Michael can't save it. I mean, he had no pants on, which is fair enough for George Michael at the time. But, I don't know. I found myself looking at it going, this has all of the component parts. Is this not the way of these budget games? It had all the component parts there, but it just didn't gel together. Nobody thought to put them into anything more compelling than just walking along, beating things up, dressed as a rabbit. No. This isn't. IK Plus is out on budget, and so is Fist 2 Tournament and Fist 2 and loads of others by now. You're you're competing in that space. You better be bloody good or forget it. And it isn't. So crazy. And the funny thing is, as a sort of a weird side note, this isn't actually that much cheaper than the original IK and IK Plus were, because they weren't full price when they first came out. So
no, it was $6.99, I think, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. So it's just not very good. No, International Ninja Rabbits. This isn't the first time that there's a plural in or something when there's no plurals. So we'll see that again soon. But no, I didn't enjoy this at all. And its cunning graphic trickery and its animated rabbits aren't saving it anytime soon from what I thought was another really boring walking around game. This is the dying days of the C64, and all of the games just seem to be boring walking around things. Sigh indeed.
Indeed, sigh no more. And that's it. That's it for this part. That's our first two games. It's not been a fun journey so far.
No,
slow
eggy.
3D and boring left to rightness. Let's go take a quick break. Let's go recharge our batteries. We'll come back. We're going to talk about TV and cinema that was showing in the UK in March 1992. Let's hope there's something more of interest in that lot to wake us up a bit. See you in a moment.
The novel Escape from the Commodore 64 by David Hearn is out now. Crash landing on a green planet full of vector graphics, can Sarah find a way to escape for real? Or is she stranded on a planet full of sun, sea, and chippy tea forever? Imagine finding yourself in a cinematic karate game, having to rescue a princess, or remain stuck under the run-stop key forever. What about finding yourself on a space freighter full of robots? Could you clear the decks? If you were transported back to a Wild West town, having to round up outlaws, could you survive until sunset? What if you were a wizard with a cat who must colour worlds? Could you beat the game, or would a virtual guitar solo announce your demise? Sarah might just be another visitor, but she doesn't want to stay a while, never mind forever. Available from Amazon and all good online retailers, discover if there's a way out in Escape from the Commodore 64. Visit davidhearnwriter.com to find out more.
And we're back. Let's get into what was going on in TV land in March 92. 2nd of March, Graham. I don't think it gets much more exciting than this. The news at 5:40 is renamed ITN Early Evening News, with John Suchet becoming the main anchor of the programme.
Wow. Some home life, huh?
Absolutely. You've changed the news.
What are you left with? A dull clot. He's an old bore. We call this real life review, where we review the people just like you. Nah, who cares what they bloody called the news? It's like when they changed the news at 10. Do you remember? It's not the news at 10 anymore. All right, okay, whatever.
Yeah. But what I did find out, somebody on YouTube has put the 9th of March intro to the news for 1992. So I could see what it looked like.
Of course they are.
So why the YouTube is full of this rubbish. 30 seconds of 9th of March 1992 news, ITV Which
theme is it? Does it have the
to be honest, it might be that. It sort of zooms in. It's like live from ITN Studios.
Yeah, they were going through that phase. Very American.
There. Yeah. It ain't very good. But anyway, it's just the news. Interestingly, 4th of March, Sky One began airing the Australian adult soap Chances on Wednesdays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. However, after proving unpopular with viewers, it drops to 1 episode a week and is shown on Thursdays at 10 p.m. before ending in the early 1993. The series is repeated on a late night slot in 1995, but on both occasions of its transmission, the final 19 episodes are not shown.
Saucy.
So I know that cover. I found the cover of this. It looks proper saucy, doesn't it? Like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, well, soap sauce. Yeah, saucy soap.
But then I found the summary from IMDb, and I've never heard of this, because it was on Sky. We didn't have Sky back then. No. It was a niche product. So maybe some of our Australian listeners can fill us in on this, because IMDb describes it as thus: a family's life changes after winning the lottery jackpot. Okay, initially focusing on their newfound wealth, the show takes an absurd turn with neo-Nazis, Chinese gangsters, supernatural entities, and man-eating flora.
What?
And it sounds amazing. It sounds to me like some kind of weird version of soap, like an Australian soap.
Maybe.
Because that was, that was bonkers.
Where do you put the sauce into that?
I don't know. Weird. I have no idea. I found the promo for it. It didn't look particularly saucy. It looked very sort of, sons and daughters style Australian TV shows at the time.
I don't know. We need to know more about when it was shown in Australia, because I doubt that it's that saucy, really.
No, I'm not going to find out. But I would like to hear from some of our Australian listeners if they can fill us in on this thing. What was Chances? Was it,
I think that description is of the same thing, because the blurb there, it says Australian television's sexiest, craziest and outrageous guilty pleasure. That doesn't sound like something that involves man-eating flora.
That's the one I found. It's the right date.
I mean,
Disc collector's edition.
What is that one that's actually about man-eating or man-killing flora? It's the Day of the Triffids, isn't it?
Yeah.
Day of the Triffids with added boobies. Maybe it's
like that. It says Australian television's sexiest, craziest. It's Australian. I think it was the right year and everything.
I think they're describing Prisoner Cell Block H, because surely that's Australian television's sexiest and craziest and outrageous guilty pleasure. Come on,
be real. That moustache.
Sons of Daughters. B. Smith. That moustache on there, you mean? God.
No, not on it. No, the dad in Sons of Daughters, he had a massive tash, didn't he? Or am I thinking of something else?
Better than Jim Fletcher's in... Come on. Don't you be taking Jim Fletcher down in Cell Block H. That man was a saint, and he looked like one of our friends' dads, which is very disturbing.
He did. Well, yeah, true. I mean, this has got some stiff competition with the Prison Cell Block H, I suppose.
It does.
Yeah. But, I mean, Neighbours had Kylie and stuff in it, and, like, Anna what's her name, who did... what was her name? She did that song, Torn.
Oh, Natalie Imbruglia. Did she play Anne? No, there was another bombshell in it called Anne, wasn't there? There was Annie, what they call her. I can't remember what they called her now in the show. They had a nickname for her.
She had the blonde hair, didn't she, in Neighbours?
She was another stunner. Yeah, it was full of really attractive women. But so was Prison Cell Block H, Trojan. Don't be taking that away. Don't you be dissing the Cell Block H's. They're in prison. They can't get access to easy makeup like those little tartlets on the bloody beach. No, B. Smith can press your trousers for you in a heartbeat.
Have you been got by the Prison Cell Block H Appreciation Society again? Have they been round your house?
This podcast is over.
You better run, Egg. They got you again. Oh, I need to keep a closer eye on you. Damn them. 6th of March, the final episode of Rainbow in its original format is broadcast on ITV. I thought we had this before Christmas. Head of Thames losing their franchise at the end of the year. Rebooted in 1994 by Tetra Films, but without any of the presenters. It's just a picture of a rainbow.
I find it really disturbing. I imagine them homeless and wandering around, maybe like Kane in Kung Fu with Bungle. Imagine that. He just wanders around helping people with his leathery palms.
Teaching them the way of the Bungle palm.
Exactly, the 5-point Bungle palm exploding heart trick. Something's made for it, isn't it?
Oh, Bungle, you should stop doing that.
See, he could be Grasshopper, couldn't he?
What, Zippy?
Yeah, Zippy.
That was supposed to be Zippy.
Somebody please do that. With the modern AI, you don't need Milhouse. Get on with it.
Yeah, Kung Fu Rainbow.
Zippy as Grasshopper.
You must follow the way of the dragon. Only when you understand the silence of one bungle palm clapping will you know true enlightenment.
Oh dear, yes. Yeah, I like it. Zippy Hopper.
Oh, that's good. Anyway, 27th of March, during the 1992 general election campaign, Conservative MP Edwina Currie famously pours a glass of orange juice over Labour's Peter Snape shortly after an edition of the Midlands-based debate show Central Weekenders finished airing. Speaking out about the incident later, Currie said, "I just looked at my orange juice and looked at this man from which this stream of abuse was emanating and thought, I know how to shut you up."
Ah, yeah. Well, and when the orange didn't work, she pushed eggs up his rectum.
Full of salmonella. That's what she was famous for, wasn't it? Salmonella eggs.
Salmonella eggs. That was her nickname.
It was, yeah. She was Edwina Currie, wasn't she?
Edwina, yeah. Good old Edwina. Yeah, she was.
But I looked up Peter Snape. He's now the Lord Snape, or Baron Snape.
Hey, that sounds evil.
Which it does. Like, sounds like a bad guy from Harry Potter. I thought of Dune. Maybe a bad guy from Dune. Oh, the Baron Snape will judge us all.
Well, there is a character called Snape in Harry Potter.
Yeah, there is, isn't there? Yeah. Maybe that's where he's from. I don't know. But he was created a life peer as Baron Snape of Wedsbury in the county of West Midlands on 9th June 2004. I've never read Harry Potter, so
I've never heard of Wedsbury. Wednesbury, is that? Wednesbury? I've never heard of it. It doesn't exist.
Is this where Hot Fuzz is placed?
Baron Snape, I ask you.
Well, he is. Baron Snape. Right. You can look at his coat of arms and everything.
Yeah, well, we'll just call our banners in. He'll be there.
Yeah. Do you bend the knee? Snape, do you bend the knee?
Bend the knee. I've had to have knee surgery. I've needed new kneecaps. That's no excuse. Bend the damn knee.
Bend it.
If I've watched enough Game of Thrones, I call my banners, you bend the knee. That's how it works. If you don't bend the knee, then nothing can happen. We can't agree on a thing. It's all about bending the knee, innit? It's all she's obsessed about in that TV show, isn't it?
Just
for a while?
bending knees.
If you come to bend the knee, I actually came to have a cup of tea with you, but
I've just come to fix your eaves.
Yeah, yes, exactly, yeah. But you should have said that to that guy coming to fix you. You can come in and I'll pay this money you've asked if you bend the knee.
If you bend the knee.
I'm using that in all future transactions. I'm like, if I'm going to shop and they say, that's £2, please, I'm like, I'll give you the £2, but you're going to have to bend the knee.
As my car passed its MOT, I'll only believe you if you bend the knee.
Oh, I'm doing it. This is please, listeners of the podcast, please also do it. If we all do it collectively, it has much more power. If we all bend the knee, so absolutely. I'll bend the knee to you, Adrian. You bend the knee to me. Well, mutual bendage.
We can all share a place in prison.
where we'll all bend the knee accordingly.
We'll all bend the knee, yeah. I'll bend the knee to each other. You won't
go to jail. It'll be like the judge will say to you, okay, I can send you to jail unless you're willing to bend the knee right now. All right, I'll bend the bloody knee. If it's that important.
It's like the Mason's handshake, the bending of the knee.
Oh, Bend the Knee. What a great title for an album that is as well. Bend the Knee. That'd be Gary's. That's Gary Lineker's album, Bend the Knee, isn't it? But it is. He'd think it was a person called Ben the Knee. Hello, Ben. No, it's Bend. Gary, bend.
No, it just bend knee.
Bend knee. No, your knee does bend, Gary. Yes, it's meant to.
Knee bend. 28th of March, Amanda Normacell bent the knee when she won the third series of Stars in Their Eyes, performing as Patsy Cline on ITV. This is the last to be presented by Leslie Crowther.
Yeah, good old Leslie Crowther. Patsy Cline. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think of a famous Patsy Cline song. What was he sing?
I didn't recognise anything. I watched some clips of I've got the video for it here. The YouTube is the whole episode. So she was up against a guy who was Stevie Wonder.
Oh, okay.
Nat King Cole.
Right.
Someone has Nat King Cole, obviously. Someone has Bryan Adams.
Okay.
Who did Run to You, and then someone I've never heard of. I can't remember the name. So it was some sort of 50s crooner, I think. And I was like, I don't know who the hell this is.
She's famous, by the way, for
Patsy
Crazy.
Cline.
Yeah, Crazy.
Right. Don't think she sang that one. No, I'm sure Patsy Cline did, but she didn't sing it in the show. But I thought the Bryan Adams one was actually pretty good, actually.
What song was it you did? Is it Run to You?
Run to You, yeah.
They always do Run to You.
That's because it's the easiest.
Yeah, they don't want to do Summer 69.
You can get a proper Adams gravel, in the voice for that one.
Run to You. Yeah, actually, yeah. To learn that for a covers band, it's really not good to play. Funless.
Finally, 28th of March, Channel 4 screen Wes Craven's 1984 horror film, A Nightmare on Elm Street, starring Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. 8 years it took.
To get to our
TV screens.
They were still milking its teat.
This is the original, the best one.
Yeah,
for my books. Yeah. And it's easy to forget this one was pretty dark and nasty in places.
Yeah.
Especially with the way the sequels went. I mean, that Johnny Depp being killed in his bed, all that blood just shooting out. His mum come running in, and there's just a fountain of blood. That bit where Tina gets dragged around the bedroom and just sliced open.
It's a really good scene, that is. It's a really good scene, that.
Yeah. Because I watched it recently, and it's mid 80s in places, and Wes Craven. It's a solid horror film. This,
yes, it is.
Genuinely, he's genuinely quite horrible character, which he should be.
Yeah,
he should never have been the hero or the anti-hero that he became in the rest.
No, that started in the third one, didn't it? In the Power of Dreams one, where they could suddenly have superpowers in their dreams and all that malarkey. And that started the direction it went down, which was that he was this sort of almost super villain with sort of weird ethereal superpowers, and it just became a sort of a gruesome death. Didn't it?
Yeah, how could Freddy kill off these teenagers?
Teenage slaughter factory. But it's like exactly as you point out, it's the original and best one actually, and it is quite brutal in a good early 80s kind of way. So, it's got that hints of horror. And like you said, that scene where she's thrown in a room, it still has power now. It's a good scene. It's a good sequence.
Yeah. The ending jump scare is still stupid, though. When she gets dragged through the letterbox or the post of this small window.
She goes inflatable.
It turns into like She turns into a worse wobbly zombie than the zombie in Night of the Living Dead remake.
There was a trend of it, wasn't there, where they had to have the shocking ending. Carrie had one, Friday the 13th had one, this had to have one, you had to have it, and Halloween sort of did a bit.
I think, was Carrie the first one to do that?
With the hand coming out of the ground. It still makes me jump now, even though I know it's happening. But it's that because it goes loud, isn't it? But I think Carrie might have been one of the first to do that.
The final jump scare.
Yeah, because the Texas Chainsaw Massacre doesn't have jump scares, does it? It's just a continuous scream. So.
Yeah. I'm thinking of like the last shot of it's not a jump scare so much, but obviously the last sort of shot of Norman Bates in Psycho as well, where he just sort of looks
that's
up,
great. That sequence
looks up grinning at the camera, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm not even going to swat that fly. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah,
so there's those kind of elements, but I think Carrie is the one I remember as being the first one to have that.
And Friday the 13th as well.
Friday the 13th was a classic. That one where he comes out of the water. Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, there you go. That's what was going on in TV. There were lots of new shows though, probably stuff we never watched.
Loads we didn't watch.
5th of March there was the Chamomile Lawn.
Ooh,
sounds like a hair product.
It probably is.
It's a television adaptation of the 1984 book by the same name by Mary Wesley. It's
either. It's like you say. It's either it sounds like either a variant of tea, maybe a tea drink, or it could be a Merkin, couldn't it? A brand of Merkin style.
What shall I wear today?
I'm going to slip on me chamomile lawn.
Chamomile lawn.
It's ticklier than I remember.
Shall I put my raspberry frontage on?
Yeah, my shrubbery, my Canterbury shrub. Oh, that's a bit rough. Stings.
That's for the winter, that is.
Me Bristol Brillo. Oh, that's a chafer.
Absolutely. A Rio slip.
Oh dear! We've got to the point where we're branding Merkins. God, we have new extremes. This is mad. Anyway, it's all good stuff. It's all good podcasty stuff.
It's all good because there's not a lot to talk about with these TV shows.
I don't know. I've never watched them.
No, this was a British comedy drama television series starring Sandy Toksvig as Deddy Tober and Mike McShane as James Howard.
Oh God, Mike McShane.
I mean, he's only good as one thing, and that's Friar Tuck in Robin Hood.
Yeah, true. Loud, wasn't he, Mike McShane?
Yeah, this was. I've got a clip of it here, and I watched it, and it's just hilarious.
Yeah, I imagine. I watched the same clip, and I thought it was the comedy equivalent of an unbuttered Rivita cracker.
It's not
dry,
good, is it? It's very dry
and humorless with a slightly suspicious-looking ripple edge,
which nobody likes.
Sandpaper biscuits, sand biscuits to call them.
9th of March there was Junglies. That's a word I don't like.
It sounds like something off The Sun, the pages of The Sun. Look at her Junglies, that kind of thing from that time.
Yeah. It's a British short-lived animated television series created by Terry Ward. Terry! Yeah. It aired from 91 to 92 on TVAM.
I imagine that if we had I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and there was a bit in it where one of them was wearing a bikini, The Sun would have described them as so-and-so gets out her Junglies. So.
Yeah, probably. They probably said that about celebrities in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I said.
Did what you just said? Sorry, I missed that. Yes, you're probably right. And my brain was elsewhere for some reason. I was like, I was thinking, I'd gone
inferred what I said.
I just had a pair of junglies in my brain. I was like, junglies.
You blatantly inferred what I meant.
Well, sometimes I need to spell it out to myself. I don't do subtle.
As soon as the word junglies came out, you glazed over.
I don't do subtle.
It's your safe word, isn't it? I've got a funny feeling.
Junglies! I'll take it out.
Oh, God. I'm back to the chamomile lawn conversation again. Goodness
Absolutely.
me.
It's playing with a Rio strip. 9th of March, there was Studs. This was an American television game show. Before each show, 2 men go on blind dates with the same 3 women, all 5 that appear on the show together, where the men answer questions about their dates and about the women in a succession of rounds. Correct guesses score them stuffed hearts, and whoever has the most hearts at the end of the game is crowned Ultimate Stud.
Oh, God. That's so horribly 90s.
Yep. I found an episode of this. I watched it. It's as awful as you would expect.
Absolutely. But it surprised me it hasn't been remade because the TV seems obsessed with dating shows. So
yeah.
You know, I mean, I saw one. So there was Beauty and the Geek. Do you remember that briefly? There was Beauty and the Geek. And there was all those ones where there was, one woman selecting from 20 guys, and that took a weird turn.
Is that Paddy McGuinness one?
No, that's 50. Yeah, what's that one called? Where they go to that stupid made-up island on holiday.
No, there's that one where they're in the show. There's all the women and they sit down. Is that the one?
Yeah, they go. Where they go to what's the stupid island called? Yeah, that's the one. That's one of the ones I'm thinking of. It's like that hasn't been on for a while though. I don't think he does it anymore.
No,
I can't remember the name of that stupid show. One with the no likey, no lighty. That one was that.
That one. There was earlier on before that. There was the Davina McCall one, God's Gift, wasn't there?
God's Gift, Blind Date, of course, with Stella.
Well, Blind Date. This just reminds me of Blind Date without the blind part.
Yep, absolutely right.
Rubbish though. 10th of March was Extraordinary People.
Yeah, interesting idea, but I bet there were key industries missing from that list in there. Well, it says it's a program produced by Granada. Each program focused on an individual or group of people who excel in their chosen field. And my question was, does the adult entertainment industry ever feature on it? Because I bet it doesn't.
Probably
not.
This
is Greg. He excels at this. Oh, I can see why. That's a big Schwanstucker.
It could very well do. I don't think it's that kind of extraordinary people. No, I think it's those who help out the community and stuff.
Yeah, of course it is. And there's a good space for those kind of shows, but they never seem to last long.
No. 15th of March, there was Screaming. This was a British television sitcom, originally aired on BBC One. 3 women, former school friends sharing a home, have all unwittingly had a relationship with the same man.
Yeah, the exact plot of the film The Other Woman with Cameron Diaz.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, exactly the same plot, yeah. So exactly the same, exactly.
Okay. I watched an episode. Well, I watched some bits of an episode of one of this Screaming, and it wasn't very good. 16th of March, there's Old Devils.
You missed out Pugwall, Adrian. You can't miss out Pugwall.
Oh, I did miss out Pugwall, sorry.
Yeah.
15th of March also, sorry. How did I miss this? Pugwall, because it had me laughing earlier on. Pugwall is an Australian children's television series that first screened on the 9 network in 1989.
Ooh.
After receiving an electric guitar on his 13th birthday, Pugwall and his friends, Bazza, Orpho and Stringbean.
You remember them?
Form a band. It's like, okay. But they need a lead singer. Whilst in hospital after a bicycle accident, Pugwall meets a girl called Jenny. In fact, she's called Jenny really disappointed me because I was expecting something else, like Guff Bub or something.
Guff Bub?
Look, you've got Orpho and Stringbean and Bazza.
A girl called Guff Bub?
Why not?
Have you've been to Australia though, haven't you? I can tell.
I have. I regularly frequent it. They all become friends, and he asks her if she can sing. He tells him she can, and he asks her to join the band. She agrees, and the Orange Organics are formed. Each episode follows Pugwall's trials and tribulations as he goes about his family life and follows the band as they attempt to secure a recording contract with a record company. Is this another symptom of just sign up anything Australian?
Yeah, complete that. I mean, it doesn't even sound good by their standards, does it?
No. It's certainly no Prisoner Cell Block H, that's for sure.
No, it is not, as we've proven in tests.
Yeah, and what is there? Because they used to film an episode a day.
They really
That's been proved. Because they only ran for 3 weeks, and they did 3,000 episodes.
600 episodes or more of that. We were like going, it can't be true, and it actually is.
Yeah, I know. The maths on that is crazy.
It is.
16th of March, there was The Old Devils. This was based on a novel by Kingsley Amis.
Kingsley Amis.
Yeah, that's one and only.
Something bothering you, Kingsley?
No, it's all right. Finally, 31st of March was Resnick, a British television crime drama series. The series based on Charlie Resnick novels, starred Academy Award, blah, blah, blah. First series and adaptation of the novel Lonely Hearts was adapted by television by Harvey himself. Bruce and McDonald. I can't hear these without just thinking monkfish.
He totally is monkfish, isn't it? Resnick.
It's just monkfish. Now on BBC Two, monkfish. Or you. What's it? That clip I found when he goes, you, what are you doing sat there? Go and get in my car and warm my seat.
Yeah. It reminds me of Monkfish, and there was that other one which was called, there was a TV show called A Touch of Cloth, which was yes. Charlie Brooker's one, wasn't it? Where he goes, where he's Touch of Cloth. I forget who was in that, but yeah, that reminds me of that sort of thing. Silly cop shows. Yeah.
You can't, these cop shows are just ridiculous. Monkfish and stuff.
TV, God, I wasn't watching telly, I can tell you that much. Look at that lot.
We were not watching TV in March 1992, that's for certain. No, we certainly weren't. Well, I was 20 by this point, and you were 19, or 18. 18.
Yeah, we're not going to watch any of those shows, are we?
No, we're down the pub. All right, film. What was going on in film at the cinema? 6th of March, Cape Fear. Over to you on this one. I think you've probably got more of a relationship with this one than I have. I've watched it a couple of times, but
yeah, it's a Scorsese movie. It's a remake of the 1962 film, which was a film directed by somebody called J. Lee Thompson. Quite a famous film. It had quite a big actors in at the time. Gregory Peck was in it, and Robert Mitchum famously played Max Cady. Now, the premise of the film is that there's a lawyer and his family who are being menaced by a convict, a released convict, a chap called Max Cady, who feels that he was wrongly imprisoned, or at least he was railroaded by his solicitor, because he was genuinely guilty of being a very violent criminal, but he felt that he should have got away on the technicalities of that. And that his solicitor buried evidence, which meant that he saw some jail time. Once he comes out of jail, after I guess filling his head with lots of ideas in prison, becoming quite super clever, I guess you'd call it that, really. Sort of doing a lot of research, and he became his own attorney, and he basically sets out to get revenge against the solicitor that he feels framed him for the crimes that he felt even though he did commit them, he felt that he should not have been convicted of. And so then we have this uncomfortable cat and mouse. Now, the film, the remake of that, because the original one is very much of its time, but it's actually a really great thriller. And the remake is a Scorsese movie starring Robert De Niro in what was the Robert Mitchum character as Max Cady, although both Robert Mitchum and Gregory Peck are in the remake as well as different characters, which is quite interesting. So there's a bit of sort of interplay there. But Nick Nolte plays the solicitor in the remake. I forget the name of the actress who plays his wife.
Jessica Lange, isn't it?
Jessica Lange, that's it. And then, of course, it's got a young, I forget her name as well.
It'll come to you, carry on. It'll come. She's in Natural Born Killers.
Yeah. She's got a young Juliette Lewis in there. So they play the family. Robert De Niro plays Max Cady, and he basically comes back and terrorizes this family. And it's really about their attempts to try and both escape the clutches of this, and also Max Cady's revenge and how he sort of operates this by just being a kind of a big menacing figure. And actually, there's many scenes in it that are depicted that way. He's kind of framing the solicitor and trying to trap him into a situation where he ends up having to take him off to Cape Fear. And without Cape Fear is a place, by the way. And without going into all the nuances of the plot, it ends up with quite violent fight scenes and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Quite violent. So it's a good remake of an original, but it was needlessly and more viscerally violent and sexualized violence at that, with lots of other overtones, which actually make for quite uncomfortable viewing if you look back at this film. Now, Cape Fear is considered a bit of a classic. De Niro transformed his body for this film, as he was wont to do at that time. So he lost a lot of weight, he put on a lot of muscle, he got quite the physique in this film, quite a physical characteristics of a different portrayal of Max Cady, but still kind of sinister, but far more sexualized in this, far more aggressively sexual with the solicitor's daughter, the Juliette Lewis character, and he pursues her at school. There's a really uncomfortable undercurrent in this, and the actual film was heavily criticized, and still is, for its central portrayal of women in the film, because they're mostly portrayed in this film, which is different to the black and white original. They're mostly portrayed as either simpering, angry, helpless victims, naive, flirty adolescent objects of inappropriate age and attention, or just under-empowered. They have no power in this. They just either scream and are victims all the way through, including all the characters that Max Cady terrorizes. Now, there is a strand of hopelessness about this in the sense that the characters in it are completely overwhelmed by the power of the Max Cady character. He's very much turned into kind of a semi-religious figure. He's at a certain point, he's babbling and speaking in tongues. There's all undercurrent of his mania and madness, and that's totally understandable. But there are moments in the film that on a revisit, and I watched this fairly recently on a revisit, they actually make for quite uncomfortable viewing. And I suppose it's on purpose, but it's uncomfortable versus necessary. And it actually sticks out as one of Scorsese's oddest films for that. It's that Shutter Island, which are really unusual in sort of his oeuvre of films. It's not saying it's a bad film because there's some really good moments in it and some classic. And of course, we wouldn't have Sideshow Bob's amazing cameo as Cape Fear, would we? We wouldn't have that whole entire episode of The Simpsons if it wasn't for this version of Cape Fear. But on a recent rewatch, as much as I love Robert De Niro and I love Scorsese movies, I found this one actually quite an uncomfortable film to watch. There's a moment where he brutally beats a woman and bites her cheek off, and really brutal, and she doesn't report him because she feels completely helpless. And that is a testament to the kind of characterization of the women in the film. And I don't, looking back, I don't like it. I don't like that portrayal of them as that kind of way. It's in keeping with its oeuvre, I guess, but it's not for a comfortable viewing. I mean, are you a fan of the Cape Fear movie?
I haven't watched it in quite some time. And I think remember watching. It took me a while to actually watch it all the way through. I don't know. It didn't.
It's quite tough.
It didn't stick with me. I just found it. I found the direction a bit. Scorsese's direction can sometimes be really good, but I just found it a bit too much in this as well. It's like a bit. It's like a bit. The camera's just. I like a moving camera and stuff like that, but I found in this it was just a bit over the top.
Yeah.
And some of the shots were just like, moving for moving's sake. And there's, I get it. It's Scorsese does what he does. Who am I to criticize Scorsese? But there was just something in this. It just didn't. I don't know. I think I like the original. I remember watching the original and liking
good.
That. Yeah. And there was this and what's the other classic black and white? Night of the Hunter.
Yeah,
the other Mitchum one, which I have because that was Charles Lawton's only film on it, and I have a really soft spot for that. And
that's a great film.
Original, that's what I mean. I thought Mitchum is a great bad guy in these films.
And they are capable of portraying the menace of a character without having to resort to somebody physically beating someone and biting their cheek off.
Yeah, exactly.
You feel just as much menace from the Max Cady character played by Mitchum like you do when he plays the priest in Night of the Hunter. You feel just as much menace from that character just by him singing that song and walking across and following those kids and that hopelessness of him just continuing to pursue them. Yeah. You feel as much menace from that. You don't need to see him brutally beating down on somebody. And it just seems that maybe that's a 90s thing, but did we need to see that? Did we need to see him,
probably not.
Him coming onto a schoolgirl essentially in school? And did we need to go down that road? It could have just been alluded to and it would have been just as powerful, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. But, didn't win Oscars and stuff for this, did it? No,
I think it might have done, actually, I think it may have done. I think it
not for
surprise
Scorsese,
me.
because he didn't win anything for ages, did he? It was a big hoo-ha when he finally won something. It was a lot later.
Yeah, no, I don't think it might have won something. I don't know. I'll have a look and see if it did, but I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it's got a real pedigree of people behind it, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's like quite highly rated, but it got Best Actor and Best Supporting Actress.
Oh, right, there you go. I thought it might have done. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it as a bad film. It's just it's not one of my Scorsese favourites, put it that way. I much prefer, you mentioned Shutter Island, I much prefer that.
Yeah. I agree.
It's a more interesting film because I kind of like that kind of, those kind of stories are my sort of, my kind of thing rather than this.
Yeah. I mean, it won the Golden Bear at the Berlin International Film Festival. He got Best Director he won the Golden Bear with it, and he got a BAFTA for Best Cinematography and Best Editing and Golden Globes and stuff. It's won quite an awards.
I just found the camera work just a bit overbearing in it. Like,
no, I agree. I think it's odd for a Scorsese movie, actually.
Yeah,
odd.
Yeah. If you didn't fancy that, you could have seen Once Upon a Crime.
No.
Phoebe and fellow American in Rome find a dog with a $5,000 reward. They take a train to the owner in Monte Carlo, but she turns up murdered. They run and become suspects just as 3 other Americans on the train. This starred John Candy, Sybil Shepherd, and Jim Belushi. Never heard of it.
No, probably isn't very good, that's why.
Probably not. 10th of March, there was Shining Through.
Nope.
An American woman of Irish and Jewish German parentage goes undercover in Nazi Germany. Michael Douglas, Melanie Griffith, and Liam Neeson.
Nope,
never heard of it.
Same.
What are these films? 13th of March. I've heard of this though. Fried Green Tomatoes.
Yeah, I did that one.
Yeah, Evelyn, an ordinary housewife, visits a nursing home, befriends the old lady, Ninny. Together they bond over stories from the past about two intrepid women of the Whistle Stop Cafe. It's Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe in it, the full title.
Yeah.
I do remember this being quite a big deal. Talked about a lot of the time by critics, did well at the box office. Yep. 220 million from an $11 million budget. A lot of people went to see it, and I think it did Oscar material as well. I think it was nominated quite a lot, this one. I just seem to remember it, a lot of people talking about this, and critics and stuff especially. But
yeah, that's a lot of nuts. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, I seem to remember sort of quite liking it. It's sort of a nice feel-good film, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it is. You could have watched 13th of March. If you didn't fancy some fried green tomatoes, you could have watched Hear My Song.
I remember something
by the way,
it.
Fried Green Tomatoes and Hear My Song, would they be Steven Seagal titles? 3 words.
I'd like to hear him in Hear My Song. It'd be Fear My Song, wouldn't it, with him?
It would be, yeah.
And I remember the name. I seem to remember the name of the film. I don't remember why, though. I wonder if it was just in the video shop. Yeah.
Yeah, owner of a failing club seeks infamous Irish singer Joseph Locke in order to bring business and success to his club.
It rings a bell for some reason.
I've never seen it. Nah. Then there was Light Sleeper. A drug dealer reconsiders his profession when his boss plans to go straight, and an old flame reappears. Written and directed by Paul Schrader, obviously Taxi Driver and other things. It's got Willem Dafoe and Susan Sarandon in it.
Okay, popular at the time, maybe.
Yeah, never heard of it though. What was we doing? Never heard of these. Heard of this one though. 20th of March, there was Bugsy. Bugsy. Hey, Bugsy. The true story of gangster Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, his tumultuous affair with the tough-talking Virginia Hill, and how he founded the Nevada-based city that would go on to be known as Las Vegas.
True.
Barry Levinson directing, Warren Beatty, Annette Bening, and Harvey Keitel starring. I don't think... I might have seen it. I can't remember, but I don't know. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I didn't think it was very good, but we're going back a long time. I might have to revisit it. It's not one I was on my radar to watch, but I might. Yeah,
it's is it a gangster film?
Yeah, essentially, yeah, because it's about that, but I don't think it's got the kind of Goodfellas gravitas of gangster. Really, it's a bit more romanticized, as I recall. But I've got vaguest memories of it. So it was a long time ago I watched it.
Okay, I have nothing to say about it. If you didn't fancy that, there was La Belle Noiseuse. That's how I pronounce that. The former famous painter Frenofer revisits an abandoned project using the girlfriend of a young visiting artist. Questions about truth, life, and artistic limits are explored.
But they are.
It's going to be saucy, isn't it? Saucy French.
Well, yes, because it follows the equation, or as the French people call them, equations. French plus art equals boobs.
Yes, that is true. I mean, the covers shows you all you need to know. You know, he's painting her and she's naked.
Exactly. And Gary's got that on a T-shirt, I think. French plus art equals boobs. If he hasn't, he'll have it for Christmas.
He might do, actually, just with a picture of him above it. Like, what's that mean? I don't know. If you didn't fancy that, there was Late for Dinner.
No.
Two young men evading the police for a crime they didn't commit are cryogenically frozen in the early 60s. The next thing they know is that they are in a strange new world 30 years on. Is that Futurama?
Yes, it is, isn't it? But that would be way better, I think.
Yeah, never heard of it though. There was I Don't Kiss also. J'embrasse. I don't know how to pronounce this in French. J'embrasse pas.
Yeah, that's probably it.
An inexperienced and naive boy is confronted with the reality of Paris. He soon gives up his dream of becoming an actor and prostitutes himself, but preserves his innocence by totally blocking his emotions. Doesn't sound happy, does it?
No, it's definitely Foucault.
What's that mean?
That's Japanese for unhappy or not very happy.
Yeah, definitely.
Foucault, definitely Foucault.
Yeah. There was also Till There Was You. A New York sax player arrives on the island of Vanuatu to find his missing brother. He learns that his brother had teamed up with a powerful, shady foreigner and his femme fatale wife to find some sort of treasure.
Never heard of it.
No, I've never heard of it as well. 27th of March, My Own Private Idaho. B-52 song. Two best friends living on the streets of Portland as hustlers embark on a journey of self-discovery, find their relationship stumbling on the way. Starred River Phoenix, as we know, Keanu Reeves, directed by Gus Van Sant. This was another one that I saw on a lot of student walls as a poster.
Yeah, that's very true. Much better song than it is a film.
Yeah, I always found it a bit boring myself. And kind of this kind of story was done better in Midnight Cowboy.
Yeah, actually, yeah. It didn't have the advantages of having a guitar that goes which of course my own private Idaho does.
It does. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like this, but I just found it a bit wanting and a bit like self-indulgent and a bit boring.
Yep,
really.
100% agree.
There was also Necessary Roughness.
Ugh.
Due to NCAA sanctions, the Texas State University Fighting Armadillos must form a football team from their actual student body with no scholarships to help to play their football schedule. This stars Scott Bakula.
Yeah, it all sounds a bit what's it called? Not the Dream Machine, but what's it called? The Mean Machine.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, they're going to win, aren't they?
Yeah,
they'll come
in the last second.
Yeah. There was also a film called High Heels. The singer returns after 15 years abroad to perform in Madrid and finds her 27-year-old daughter married to one of her mom's ex-lovers. It's a Pedro Almodovar film. I've never seen it.
It is.
Have you?
No, I don't know if I have. No, I remember hearing of it, but I don't remember seeing it. So.
Okay, finally, just to round out the month, because there's not a lot good here going on. Free Jack.
Oh, God.
Bounty hunters from the future transport a doomed race car driver to New York City in 2009. I love about the future. 2009, where his mind will be replaced with that of a dead billionaire.
Okay.
This starred Mick Jagger, didn't it? And was, I seem to remember, bloody awful.
Yeah, it was rubbish. Utterly shite.
Yeah, it wasn't this a massive flop as well? Didn't it get massively panned? And it was a huge flop.
Huge flop. It was a wrestler daddy. What's he called? Big Daddy flop. Yeah, bloody yeah. I don't. I know I've seen it. I've only ever seen it once, and absolutely.
I never want to watch it again.
Mick Jagger in it, and his weird voice and everything. It's weird.
Yeah, it's very odd. Who thought of casting him?
I don't know.
Not seen Dancing on the Street.
No, he probably just blew in on a breeze.
He said, "Man, we can't cast him. He's made of spaghetti."
So that's how he travels around. He doesn't take aeroplanes. He just jumps up in the air, and the wind carries him wherever he needs to go. He just floats in the breeze.
He just landed on set. You're hired.
He's the only person who can actually jump in a paper aeroplane if he needs to.
Yeah, I suppose he could.
First class all the way for me.
Absolutely. I've got this paper all to myself.
I can lie flat and everything.
I can just string out. That's it. That's not that's not a good month, is it? Of TV and film. What I mean, we're probably out, but I can't remember any of these. Most of these are just boring and rubbish.
Yeah.
God Lord, this episode. We're going to go away, take a quick break. We've still got 3 games to come. Maybe they will perk us up a little. There's only one way to find out. Come back after the break. See you then.
The novel Escape from the Commodore 64 by David Hearn is out now. Growing up in the 80s is a chore for Sarah, who feels misunderstood by her parents and badgered by Reese, her bothersome brother who incessantly prattles on about his treasured computer games. When Reese tells her one of the games tried to pull him inside the computer, she laughs off his fanciful fib. She waggles the joystick to disprove his fairy tale and is pulled into the computer. Now trapped in games she'd never had any interest in playing, how can she possibly beat them? With the help of feisty Nell, another trapped player, can Sarah find her way back home, or is it game over? An evil madman, a hostile planet, bloodthirsty robots, a never-ending throng of karate experts, and relentless digital soldiers will do their best to ensure Sarah never escapes. Available from Amazon and all good online retailers, find out if there's a way out of the beige bread bin of betrayal for Sarah in Escape from the Commodore 64.
And we are back for the final part of March 1992. 3 more games to get through. And the first, Graham, straight over to you to tell us all about the Jetsons.
Well, here we go. $6.99 for this, which is odd, isn't it?
90%,
though. We've got Sizzler. Not Sizzler.
Yeah,
somehow.
it did.
Published by High Tech Premier. This was their more expensive wing, wasn't it? Developed by 221B Software Developments. Obviously, Sherlock Holmes fans there. Coded by David Vout. He did Hero Quest.
Yeah,
and Space Harrier 2. And there's a reason why I blanked it out of my mind. The graphics here are by Paul Salmon. Clever Paul Salmon, isn't he? He did the graphics of Robin of the Wood. So way back in the day in the C61 Ark of Yesod. They were good graphics.
They're very good graphics. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, nice they were back then.
1985 though. What was he doing for the last 7 years?
And the music here is by Ray Norrish. Not Norris. That's how Sean Connery would say Norris, isn't it?
What's your name? Ray Norrish.
Ray Norrish. It's Ray Norris, Sean. Norrish.
That's what I said.
Norrish. It's Norris. Oh, Zardoz you. Oh, God, I'm out of here.
Don't make me put my pants on.
Zardoz yourself, you freak. Anyway.
What's this game? The Jetsons.
The Jetsons. I blame myself. Yeah. Jetsons. All right. Yeah. So then Ray Norrish did the music, and he's only done this. That's all he ever did. And that's all he'll ever do, I guess.
And with good cause.
All right. Jetsons. What on earth? All right. So the blurb. The Jetsons is an American animated sitcom produced by Hanna-Barbera Productions. It originally aired in prime time from September 23rd, 1962 to March 17th, 1963 on ABC, then later aired in reruns via syndication with new episodes produced from 1985 to 1987. It was Hanna-Barbera's space-age counterpart to the Flintstones. It was. While the Flintstones lived in a world which was a comical version of the Stone Age, the machines powered by birds and dinosaurs, the Jetsons live in a comical version of the space age with elaborate robotic contraptions, aliens, holograms, and whimsical inventions. The original had 24 episodes and aired on Sunday nights on ABC beginning on September the 23rd, 1962, with primetime reruns continuing through September 22nd, 1963. It debuted as the first program broadcast in colour on ABC back in the early 1960s, when only a handful of ABC stations were capable of broadcasting in colour. In contrast, the Flintstones, while always produced in colour, was broadcast in black and white for its first 2 seasons. Makes you wonder why they drew it in colour, doesn't it?
Would have, yeah.
So this is I had a little bit of trouble actually finding. I found the instructions for this, the instruction manual, and it's a curse of them not really telling you what the game is really about. So I won't read the blurb from the Jetsons manual because all it really has is game hints and a little bit of what you need to do in the various levels. The back of the box, though, says this. Jetsons the computer game. Hanna-Barbera's famous futuristic family straight from their silver screen debut in cinemas around the world. So I'm guessing there was a Jetsons movie at this time. Maybe.
Must have been.
And now to your computer screen in his latest high-tech game. George is trying to get the afternoon off work so that he can take the family to Las Venus for the weekend. Mr. Spacely, however, has other plans. George, if you leave your office before 1,400 hours, you're fired. That Spacely has gone too far. 3 hours a day, 3 days a week, a week in, week out for nothing. I'm leaving anyway. Can you help George finally escape from the dreaded Mr. Spacely and get away for his well-earned break? Okay, there you go. So a little bit of a premise. Features include 8 different levels in 2 styles, 140 screens, areas in 4 levels, race sections with 120 screen areas. They're very big on the size of the screens in this description, aren't they? Almost like they're trying to compensate for something. Control a different member of the family in each level, hidden characters to do search for, many different characters in each main level are there. Puzzle-solving actions, best of all, robot teachers. What a random thing to put on the back end of that, isn't it? Why is that a good thing?
I don't know. Okay.
So this is a multi-level, multi-flick screen adventure game. We've seen this kind of thing so many times. It's just a walk and seek, isn't it? And this one's a particularly arduous walk and seek at best. The way to traverse through these levels, all I can really give you is the hints. I'll tell you what, let's just dive in. So the game, there's actually quite an okay loading screen for this, I thought. It's a good cartoon image of the Jetsons. Now, I'll be honest, and I'll say this right from the start, the Jetsons is something I never really gave a toss about at all. I've seen the odd episode, and it was and is the Flintstones in space, and not really my thing at all. I didn't really like the Flintstones that much either, if I'm honest. Especially when it introduced canned laughter and characters that were needless, like Bam Bam and all the rest of it and all that, which are already kind of in the Jetsons anyway, so it already has the sort of annoying family. If you just picture the Flintstones in space, that's exactly what the Jetsons were for me. It's got extra added annoying voices, though, and sci-fi alternatives to all that dinosaur stuff. So I guess it's very of its time. But importantly, I think, and at least in the UK, other than the movie that was obviously made, which I still don't think would have been that popular in the UK or beyond, it wasn't widely syndicated. So not like the Flintstones, where that was kind of quite a lot of that was shown in the UK. The Jetsons never really got a look in. Because I just don't think, I think it was very American sci-fi of the time, very 60s style American sci-fi of the time, a bit like Lost in Space, and a whole bunch of that other stuff. It was kind of that the animated variation of those things. Lost in Space is very much like a Jetsons, albeit with a slight variation of premise. So there was a whole bunch of shows of that type and of that kind of colour scheme as well. They all have shot in sort of crazy colour post this, obviously, and Batman and all those other ones. They all have this kind of bright purples, reds, greens, vibrant colours and stuff like that. That lends itself to a cartoon, really, I suppose. So it's not the first time we've had a licensed game for something, is it, that nobody really cared about either? So, all right, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like I said, loading screen-wise and presentation, I thought it looked okay. Nothing horrible on the whole. Music is annoying, but it's all right. It's a version of the Jetsons theme music, which is the music that I could never really dig. It's not like the Flintstones that's catchy as that, is it? You know, if someone says to me, hum the Flintstones, meet the... I know it straight away. Hum the Jetsons. You're like,
Jetsons, meet the
Jetsons. They're the modern future family from the planet of Venus. I know. But yeah, it is that. But it's a version of that theme, so I guess it's okay. The title screen is decent enough, though, as well. It's got quite a nice presentation to it. You're sort of flying spaceship, and it's quite cartoony. It's quite a nice look. You get the feeling you're going to come back to that thing, though, but it is what it is. And starting off the game, as you do, generally things are okay looking. Graphics are colourful and suitably in keeping with the cartoony aesthetic of the show. You control a decent looking, if not a bit thin and flimsy, George as well. George Jetson sprite with the joystick in this. When you start the game's screen is kind of split into, I guess you'd call it two halves, but the bottom half split into three windows, and then there's the top, which is the main area of the game. And it's almost point and click looking, actually, in some ways, this. Without the point and the click, and without the point, as in the pointless part as well, really. It's got that. So at the bottom, you've got the UI, you've got a Jetsons logo, a number of dollars that you'll pick up, the number of Georges or characters that you've got left remaining, and then an inexplicable energy meter that I couldn't really figure out what the hell it was all about. The love heart, some kind of two chart things, and then I'm not even sure what it was. It was just a bit weird, and it wasn't described anywhere that I could find that made any sense. Above that is the game window. And here you're in the Jetsons world. Now, the actual definition of the world and the way it looks is quite nice for a C64 game. I'm not going to complain. It's done in that kind of 2.5D, so you've got depth to the levels, and you can walk backwards and forwards into the screen. You don't change size or anything, but it's that kind of... We've seen it in the old Ultimate type games, haven't we? Remember those ones where you've got...
It looks very much like Staff Carnath Entombed.
Yeah, it's got that. Your George sprite is a bit more high res, isn't it? It's obviously got a sprite overlay, and that doesn't look too bad. The colour's a bit off, but it looks okay. But you control him in this environment, and the idea is that you will walk into the flick screen, different screens, and I'm assuming that you've got to find stuff, because according to the instruction blurb and hints for this first level... it says, you must help George Jetson get out of the factory without Mr. Spacey knowing. There are 3 objects which you must collect in order to get past various obstacles. Each object can only be used correctly in a certain place. Now, I've got to tell you, I've no idea what those objects are, where they are, when you pick them up, how you use them. I think it's spacebar to use objects, because that's what's implied in the instructions, but I never actually picked anything up to use when I was playing this. I don't know if you did, if you managed to...
I managed to find something, but I didn't know what I had to do, though.
No, all I could find was dollars when I was walking around this first level. And assuming that you need to do stuff with the dollars, that's what I found. So principally, you're meant to be going around the level, picking objects up and using them in certain places. We've seen this kind of game design before, haven't we? Pick up the thing to use the thing. I'm guessing that's what it was. It's a bit like that game, at least 2 of the games that we looked at last week.
Yes, very much so.
So this is another one of those kind of things. Now, graphically and colour-wise and everything else, that's okay. But, okay, where is the rest of the game then? So you move George in and out of the space as you move around the flick screen rooms. And I'm guessing looking for dollars, I think. Some of the rooms contain hazards, which you need to avoid, or they'll zap you and you'll lose energy and lives, ultimately leading to the game over. Other rooms contain annoying traps, like holes where you'll fall repeatedly into a space, only to have to navigate yourself all the way back again through the various lifts, doors, and
holes.
Navigation. And it's a really stupid, cheap mechanic in this game that is just really annoying in a game that doesn't need to be made more annoying. So they're just time wasters. And the key thing here to remember is that you are on a time clock. So if you run out of time, it's game over. Mm-hmm. So they're just designed to waste your time in more ways than one. So there are rooms that are just full of these holes in the ground. Sometimes you'll know where they are. Sometimes you'll go flick to a level and you'll instantly drop down and you land in like a room at the bottom of the basement. And then it doesn't kill you as much as take your energy away and you lose time. Then you've got to navigate all all the way back to where you were via the various lifts. There's no hazards or anything really in between any of that. It's just takes time to do it. That's really all there is. And so you've got to navigate your way around some of these holes, which need to be pixel accurate, or you'll fall down them. And I can tell you, more often than not, you're going to go down over and over and over down through these holes, and it's just annoying, really annoying. Time is a factor, so it's just, I don't know, other than doing that, that's really all you're doing is either falling down holes, avoiding really arbitrary things to avoid, or just picking up dollars where you find them. There's objects scattered around the various rooms that seemingly have no purpose other than to be background decoration, other than the lifts. Nothing you can click on does anything, which in a game like this, you think it would. That's the point and click bit that's missing, I felt. You should be able to go over objects and click on them and it just have a speech bubble appear and it say something. Why wouldn't it do that? There should be other characters in this space that you can talk to and interact with, but again, there aren't any of that. So to pick up objects in this, you just move over them, the dollars anyway, that's all I could find. Using them, I never could use them or anything. I never actually found my way out of level 1 because I just kept falling down the holes and I ran out of time in the end. The other levels in the game are not all built around the same sort of walking around finding stuff. Most of them are. It says in the blur for level 2, it says Jane Jetson. Jane is at home waiting for George when a cat burglar breaks into the Jetsons' home. The cat burglar has a reprogrammed household object to hinder you as you try to clear the house and find George. There are 3 objects which you must find. And then you've got race sections. So if you're not in a sort of a find and seek section, you're in a race section where you've got to fly from the Jetsons' house to the fun pod to collect Judy Jetson. Now, those flying sequences are very much like, and the race sections are very much like the opening title screen. So it's that. So if you're wondering what they look like, because I never actually got to play any of these, and I had a quick look on the one, and it wasn't even a long play. There was one video I could find on YouTube of it, and it clearly they didn't get off level 1 either. So it was just like wandering around going, yeah, it's not very good, boring. Yeah, I'm going to quit. So that was my experience of that. There are, like I said, multiple levels to go at. Maybe you'll get to them. I don't know. If you've got the objects and maybe you need to use them in some way. The music through this trundles away annoyingly in the background as you move around the rooms looking for stuff to pick up or do. I don't know, because you've no idea really what you're meant to do with it. Are you meant to escape? Doesn't really explain how. There's no signposted in this game of any description, so you're just wandering around aimlessly, not really interacting with anything. There's no other characters. There's no tannoys. There's no Mr. Spacely making announcements, to give you any indication as to what you should be doing or shouldn't be doing. There is no purpose to what you do, other than you're trying to escape, but you don't know how or why, and there's nothing given away. Like I said, there's a few levels with the flying bits and everything else. I never got there. It's a soulless experience, this. You move around these quasi 3D screens, avoid the annoying holes. I mean, really? And hazards, and pick up dollars for whatever reason. It's another game that looks and sounds okay for what it is, but it's devoid of anything interesting to actually do. There are no other characters you encounter, at least not in this bit, which is stupid. It's called the Jetsons. Plural. Not the Jetson. Wandering around is dull. It's just dull. Falling through holes is also dull. And since that leads to more wandering around, that's the double dullness of Doom. It's boring enough to walk around, then to fall down and have to walk around some more. You're punishing me with more of the boring bit. That's really stupid. Who thought that was a good idea? Which game designer thought that was a brilliant idea? This is Snakes and Ladders, isn't it, with the Jetsons? Now that's boring in a flick screen boring game where the family it's based upon are missing from the whole fun of the show. So it's all that fun part of the interaction between the characters, which is the principal background for these shows, is missing. They did the same thing with the Flintstones, remember?
Yep.
And they did the same thing with Yogi. They took Boo Boo out of the damn game.
Scooby.
What is it with these? Scooby, how stupid do you have to be on an ensemble cast cartoon to take away the very thing that makes it what it is? You have to be a special kind of stupid to make a game like that. And then on top of that, to make it walk around. So you're just walking around, falling down holes. Why? This is even more depressing than a Wombles game. At least Wombles tried to make good on the things that they find. You got no purpose for the money that you find here. It's arbitrary. So this is a game where you're wandering around looking for small change on the floor. I mean, what genius thinks that's a good idea? Somebody at one point, Adrian said, I know, for level 1, let's have George wander around empty rooms full of holes and occasional hellers on a quest to pick up loose change. And somebody went, yeah, that's the most compelling thing I've ever heard. That should be an episode of the show, which, by the way, isn't. Ever. That never happens. What would have been more funny, wouldn't it be, to encounter the characters and have them say little quirky lines of dialogue? That happens all the way through every episode of the Jetsons and every episode of the Flintstones, because that's the nature of those shows. It doesn't do any of that. So
no,
the purpose of the characters is lost. They're not together. The rationale of the show is lost. because it's not really about the Jetsons doing the things that make the Jetsons funny, and there's no funniness in it. It's boring. This is a boring game of a simulation of a trapped man in some kind of arbitrary, sterile environment where he can't interact with anything, looking for dollars. Ugh. No more of this, please. No. I've had enough. I've reached my limit. I've reached my ceiling limit. It's too common now. They've had years to perfect this kind of game archetype. In 1992, there is no excuse for churning out something that's so ill-conceived and underwhelming that it angered me to the point where I actually had feelings about a cartoon I never liked in the first place. Get lost, you stupid game and stupid game type. Do it better or don't do it at all. Be gone. And that's my final thought, Nick. What about you?
90%.
I'm not even talking about the scores because I blatantly, I can't see it. I don't see those numbers.
90%. What
Get
the hell?
lost. Dream on.
Maybe there's more game after, because I'm the same as you. Maybe there's more game after wandering around the opening level section. I couldn't be bothered to find out. It's always a bad sign when there's no long play of this.
No,
I always find.
No.
And also as well, all the screenshots from every single version of this on Moby, they're all from the first level.
Yep.
For every version. I think there's a problem with this game. And it's because the first level is a dull thing with annoying music and terrible game designs. Those holes, those f***ing holes. God damn them. Why would anyone put them right at the edges of screens in a flick screen game so you walk into a screen and fall down a hole? Why?
Yep.
That's just shitty design, and I hate shitty design.
Yep.
It's just horribly punitive to the player. And it's has the simple effect of annoying them and making them want to stop playing your annoyingly designed game.
Yep.
There's so little payoff to anything. Nothing seems to do anything. You just found I found one object, went into the bottom bit of the thing, and I was like, what am I supposed to do with that? I found a room where there were some things on a wall that I could sort of open, and then every now and again I get sucked into those things, spinny things. Like, what am I doing though? I'm dodging holes, pixely scribbling around holes to walk around another boring room and then fall into another hole that wasn't telegraphed. All the nicely animated pirate sprites in the world and nice backgrounds or whatever can't disguise piss poor design, which this has. This made me angry. Another game that angered me playing this. I was like, what the hell? This can jet off for all I care. After Potsworth, which we looked at last week in the same range, I was kind of expecting more good things from this range. So 90%, I thought, hang on, maybe there's some little hidden, but no. And, as ever, it's the hope that kills you. This was, it's so frustratingly badly designed, this. I was like, what were you thinking?
Do you know what made me laugh is that there was one part where I went through, there was these three holes in like an angle. And I managed to navigate my way past them. And then when I went to the next room, it was just a room full of holes. I'm like, oh, no.
Who designed this factory?
What do they produce? There's no machinery in it. It's holes.
They produce bits of floor. And then what they do is they just take them out and give them and sell them away. So it's just left with a whole load of holes.
Wouldn't it have made more sense that you picked up something that then you placed over the holes so you could walk over them? Wouldn't that have made sense in a game?
That would have made sense. Have been, some kind of just not had the holes, because holes don't make sense in a factory where people have to navigate.
Nope.
Or chairs that go back and forward in the line.
Do you need to use the money in one of the machines? I tried
it.
No,
the money just gives you score.
What is the point?
You've got to find these three objects and put them in a room somewhere. I found one, like I said, but I don't know what they did.
What was the object you found?
It looked like a little radio type thing.
I never found that.
Didn't say anything. It just popped up in my inventory at the bottom. It was like under the lives bit. And then I ran out of time because I kept falling down the frigging holes. And it said game over. And I went, no, it's game over for holes. You. And turned it off.
Yes. Holes. Too many holes in the logic of this.
Jesus Christ. It's a game of Swiss cheese. Why would you make a game about Swiss cheese and call that a factory? Stupid.
I mean, goodness me, it takes effort, doesn't it, to make a game so funless, so funless. I mean, I don't like the Jetsons, but I imagine they're probably more fun than this.
Oh, they're a poor man's Flintstones, but
I imagine watching the film and it was just this. It was just a guy wandering around picking up a few quid and falling down holes repeatedly. You'd be like, but maybe this has got some appeal somewhere. Maybe this is a laugh a minute, and I don't know.
You'd just be in a cinema room full of crying children. Make it stop, Mummy. Make it stop.
Yeah, can I have another ice cream? You're on your 12th. I don't think so.
Absolutely. Just walk around and see if you can find some money on the floor. There seems to be a message here. There seems to be money everywhere on the floor. Dreadful. What a dreadful thing. Rubbish. The Jetsons. Garbage. Go away.
Yep.
We have challenged, by the way, AL82 Retro to do a long play of this.
I saw. That would be like the longest long play he's ever done.
I feel sorry. If you do it, if you manage it, we'll obviously mention it on here. But
I don't see how he's going to do it, because even when I looked at the extra screens on Lemon, they're all of the first level.
Exactly.
Nobody. I don't think anybody's escaped it.
Everywhere, everything. Like I said, all the different versions on Moby are all the first level.
Okay.
I don't know. There you go. That's the Jetsons. We'll see if we get a long play of this. That'd be funny. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to our penultimate game for the week. And this is PP Hammer and his pneumatic weapon.
Ooh.
You were talking about extraordinary people from the adults industry.
Here he is.
It's weird, this. Demonware. Demon's back. This is Demonware. Comes the strangely titled PP Hammer and his pneumatic weapon, along with the strange price of £11.23 on tape and £15.31 on disc.
Okay.
Which is weird. We've seen Demonware before because they published The Power, which is that kind of like a sort of small single screen puzzler type one. They also did Gem X.
Yeah, they did.
Remember?
Okay.
So it's another game. I think this is another game. It's obviously another game from mainland Europe. Looking by what the people who made it did. So those prices, I wonder if they're the result of monetary conversions or something from some European currency into pounds. I don't know. Anyway, it's developed by Synoptic. It's their only game on the system, and it was coded by Anthony Christoulakis. The only thing I could find that he did was a Pong variant for the Magic Disc things. We looked at one of them, that Lost Ninja. It was also coded by Boris Trebell. Nothing else for him. Graphics are by Boris Kunkel. And music here is by Michael Martin Detert and Thomas Detert. They've worked on loads of games, never made it to Zap. Aside from The Power. So they've done loads of stuff. There's lots of these games that these guys have worked on we've never seen. And I do mean a lot. It's like a full page of them on Lemon. So there's not much in the manual for the story of this, but the back of the box has this to say: meet PP, a man with a mission. Help him clear out over 2,500 screens of treasure, potions, and secret rooms before his time runs out. With 70 caverns to work through, from cold ice caves to sizzling pyramids, it's just as well PP has brought his secret weapon, a pneumatic drill. Plenty of features and puzzles will ensure that you need all your wits in this fast-moving action adventure. Yeah.
Exciting.
So I played the cartridge version primarily for this. I did try the disc version as well. The loading on that I found to be a bit of a pain. It's a bit long, so I switched back to the cartridge version. When the game loads, there's actually a really impressive full screen animation of PP drilling away, looking very happy with himself, coupled with some nice jolly Euro music. Kind of Euro sort of music, 64 music. It's all good. There's credits, a scrolling high score table, and underneath it's a very demo-like logo for the name across the top of the screen. That kind of shaded, use of negative space and stuff. It looks good. Nice front end, this. All you can do is press fire, though, to start the game. And at this point, the game asks you to enter your name and enter a password if you have one. Each of the 70 levels has a password, so that's good. You can instantly skip to where you last got to, which is, as always in these kind of games, a really nice touch.
Useful,
much appreciated.
Yeah.
If you do not have a password, you start stage 1. And what we have here is a multi-directional scrolling puzzle platformer with the emphasis firmly on the puzzles and navigating your way through the levels. Enemies are few and far between on most levels, further emphasizing that this is not a respawning enemy's nightmare as we've seen in some of these games recently, but one that actually requires some brains to progress. So the screen itself is split in two. It's got the UI at the top and the game window taking up about 2/3 of the screen below this. Is it? Have I got the wrong way round? Have I written that the wrong way round? Let me just check something. Hang on a minute. I'm for sure I've got that. I've got that the wrong way round.
Sounded right.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, for some reason I thought I just got. For some reason I was like, "Is the UI at the bottom?" No, it's at the top. Anyway, the UI has your lives and the time remaining for the level in the top left. Underneath this is an empty black box where any items you pick up will be displayed. And then next to that, there's another box. It's got a yellow bar in it. This is your energy. There's a couple of space, though, for two others. You can kind of see the little green bit and a little red bit, but they're not filled at the moment. We'll come to that in a bit. Then you have the number of treasures left to find across the top and your score next to that. And then there's a bigger box underneath that, which displays information and messages to you as you progress through the levels and do things. So the game itself is a side-on platformer, kind of similar to what we've seen before. Think Rick Dangerous, I think, is a good sort of visual comparison.
I'd say that.
Bit of a look of that. And you control PP with basic platforming controls, so left and right to move, up in the diagonals to jump, and you can control him in the air when he's jumping, which is good. Down to crouch, and when you crouch, you can then crawl left and right with the bottom diagonals. And the other control, the main thing, obviously, this is the drill. You hold down fire, and this starts your drill whirring, and you'll hear it rather than see it at this point. It's just starts to. If you move left or right at this point, this will make PP drill into the block on the floor that is adjacent to the one you are standing on.
That's right.
And if it's destroyable, it will destroy it. So that's the whole point. And it's also got the bit that I thought had a bit of the look of Pengu as well.
I'd say that.
It's basically block based. So think games that work on kind of squares and blocks. Boulder Dash was another one that came to mind. Pengu, it has that kind of look. So some of these square blocks in the levels, they can be destroyed after drilling into them for a couple of seconds, and that's kind of the sort of main mechanic for this game. That's why you've got to kind of navigate the space. So when you start the game, you'll see a couple of white circular items on the screen in front of you. These are the things that you need to collect in order to progress to the next level. You basically need to collect them all. You've got to collect all the bits, all the coins, whatever they are, the items on a level, and then that opens the exit. So I don't normally do this, but I'm going to go through the first level because I thought the first level to this is really good. It starts really well. So when the game starts, you've got the first item is right in front of you. Okay, it's just stood. It's on the base. You just walk into it. You instantly get the ping. You get the noise, and the number of items you got to count down in the UI at the top goes down, instantly telling you, "Oh, this is what I've got to do. These are the items I've got to collect." Instantly telling you that. The second one is also on the same screen, but that is trapped under some rocks off to the right. So as you walk towards that, the screen scrolls across. You need to jump on top of them and then drill through in order to get it. Okay, that instantly, again, you know what to do. There's the two mechanics. You collect these things, and some will be hidden, and you've got to drill through. You can't collect it without drilling through these blocks. It's like, okay, right. So I really like this sort of teaching by showing and doing, quite Mario-esque, really. Then after this, there's a small fire pit to jump over. There's a ladder to climb to get the third coin, and a fourth one that you need to crouch and crawl to get. Again, these are the things the game is teaching you, showing you where the things are really simply. This is how you navigate the space. So we don't see this in a lot of games, but this is a really good way of sort of guiding the player through the things that you're going to be doing. The fifth coin is revealed when you drill through a block because you can't get past this bit. There's a block blocking your way. You drill through it. It reveals the block. It reveals the item. And this shows you that items can be hidden in blocks. You can't miss this. You can't bypass it. The game is showing you, like, look, things are hidden. You'll notice this. So next that we see is like an inaccessible trapdoor, which we can't get below. Below this is another item below it, and it's got two blue keyholes next to it. We move on, and we see a blue key in a hole underneath a block. So we need to drill through it, drop in, get the key, and jump back out. Go back to the locks and stand in front of them. You basically, the key will appear in your inventory at the top. You can have 5 objects in here, and you just use the number keys 1 to 5 to use the item in that slot. So you stand over the key, you press 1, it unlocks the door, the trapdoor that blocks the way, allowing you to get down and get the coin. You've learned how to sort of interact with objects and how to use your stuff. Very good, okay? Picking that up, moving on through the level, we get some water to jump over, which rising up and down. You can, if you fall in it, it's not instant death either. Same with the fire. You lose some energy, but it's quite easy enough to jump back out of it. So the game's not punishing you for getting it wrong, and you're not going to lose much energy. You just jump back out. You know that you're going to lose some energy here. You jump over. You see like an object, looks like it's a door basically. Yeah. And this is the exit. And then there's the final item right next to the door. You pick that up, it opens the door, and jumping into it takes us to the next level. It's a great tutorial level. And also having that last object right next to the door, so you can see when you collect them all, the door opens and it tells you, get the message at the top saying, well, you've collected them all, go for the exit. Those two things tie together. You know exactly what you're looking for on every exit at this point. Really good. So it's a great tutorial level, I thought, as we cannot progress without doing the thing the games need us to do. So many times we just like, off you go, and you've no idea what you're doing in these kind of games. But it's like, no, do these steps. Here's the steps. This is the game. This is how you're going to find stuff. We're going to mix all these things up and do extra bits, but that's essentially what you're going to be doing. Okay, collecting, drilling, using items, finding secret items, avoiding environmental hazards, and having the last item right next to the exit. And animating the door and having a message at the top tells you we have everything to do. Like I said, it's a great way to introduce this game, I thought. From a design perspective, excellent stuff. Yeah. From there, you move on to the game proper, almost. Level 2 kind of, and this is where, it gets a bit more inventive. Level 2's got like a Boulder Dash style scrolling pan across the level. Starts off with it sort of panning across the level like we kind of get in Boulder Dash at times, until it gets to PP and he appears. And it's much more expansive, this, and tricky to navigate. There's extra things going on. We sort of, you've learnt the basics. Now let's sort of put them into practice with some other bits and bobs. So you've got the introduction of enemies. They're not too hard to avoid, though. And again, they're not deadly. If they hit you, they don't drain all your energy. It's not being punitive to you. There's potions as well, which we've got to find out. Enemies generally move in a set pattern, must be avoided, like I said, or you lose energy. You also lose energy from water and fire pits. You can lose all your energy. Obviously, it's that kind of game. If you do, you lose a life. You've got, I think, 7 to make your way through. So that's pretty good. But the potions in the game come in 3 types. There's blue. And again, you can use these whenever you want. Blue makes you jump higher. There's red potions, which recharges your health. And yellow makes you invisible, literally, and makes you immune to enemies. There's also oil to be found. All these things just go in your inventory. Sorry, where is that? So there's also oil to be found. This lets you drill through blocks faster should you use that. You can choose when to use them, and you just select them whenever you want by pressing 1 to 5, depending on where they are in your inventory. It's dead simple. If you use the jump power, then a green bar appears. It's a countdown, basically. It's a timer, a cooldown. So it slowly goes down. While that's going down, you get a higher jump. And there's a bit at the start of the second level, there's a jump that's too high for you, so you have to use the potion to get up and around it. Again, I like that because it's teaching you, you're going to have to use these things. And if you use the oil, then there's a red bar appears when you use the oil to allowing you to drill faster. The aim of each level is simply to get all the coins and get to the exit. And as they progress, obviously they get more tricky and complex to navigate. Extra elements are included, and you can find hearts to gain an extra life, scrolls to get hints and tips, teleports, these kind of green wibbly wobbly things that move you around the level, and blue crystals that transport you to a bonus level where the aim is to find the hidden extra life in the sort of 30 seconds you get in there. So it's not about exploring it, it's just drilling through everything and trying to find it. There are also various traps dotted about these levels as well as you progress, such as mud, which slows you down, ice blocks, which you cannot stop on once moving, so slippery, slidey ice, trapdoors, which open underneath you, trap spikes, which appear above and in front of you, which can sort of harm you or walk on. You've got to jump or duck under them. There's fireballs, which bounce about the levels, and there's loose tiles, which will fall on you. On top of these, the navigation of the levels becomes ever more tricky, requiring the use of the potions and keys. The keys also come in 3 different colours, red, blue, and yellow, and you've got to use these at the right point. Or you can actually trap yourself, and that is possible. You can press H, though, at any point to kill yourself, or you can dig through a stone. So the stones, when you drill through them, when you drill through a stone, it disappears. It reappears, though, a few seconds. It's gone for like about 10, 15 seconds and then reappears. If you're standing where the block is going to reappear, it's an instant death. It's like you've just been subsumed into the block and instantly die. You lose one of your lives. So if you're getting stuck or anything like that, you can also, if a level becomes completely impassable, you can quit with a space bar. It just quits out. But obviously, you've got the password system. So you can, as long as you note down the password, you can start. You can start immediately again at that level again. So it makes it really quick and easy to get back into. And some of these levels will find you trapped because you've got to use the items in the right place. It's a case of working things out. How do I go? What do I use where? This isn't going to be easy. It is what it is. I had a problem, though, with the cartridge version. It would only give me the password for level 38, which was Samson for some reason. I played the disc version, though, and that gave me the right password. Just longer to play, but, it's what it is. But in the disc version, they'd remapped the controls. So H was the level skip.
Right.
So I was like, I'm pressing H to die, and it was like just skipping levels. I was like, stop this. Just want a normal version that works properly. And it's also worth noting here that this was a D-port from the Amiga. This started out on the Amiga. It's an Amiga original. But it has stayed true to the level design and the control scheme. And most of the content, bar some animations, as you'd expect, graphics, interstitial bits. It's all here, all the levels and everything. And finally, there are hidden secrets that you can find as well. Invisible stuff. There's invisible ladders that you can climb up, invisible gems that lead to bonus rooms and things like that. So exploration is key here. These levels are quite tricky to navigate and make your way through. I thought the visuals in this were very good. The main character is similar to the one we saw in Potsworth & Co. last week. Lots of different coloured parts made up of various high-res sprites. So you've got a yellow hat, flesh-coloured face and arms, sunglasses, a red T-shirt, blue trousers and grey shoes. A lot of colour. We saw that on them last week. It's also well animated. Nice walking. He walks at a pace as well. It's a nice speed to this. It's not slow. You have a decent pace to this. And I love the crouching animation, which they've kept from the Amiga. You sort of you pull your hat down and climb underneath it, and you crawl along. You're kind of like a tortoise Really nice and great to see that they've kept that from the Amiga. They could have easily just jettisoned that, but it's nice that they've kept that in and everything like that. The backgrounds, though, are very different to the Amiga version, but I actually think that's a good thing, because I looked at the Amiga version. I found it really hard to read what was foreground and what was background.
So that may be a bit.
So it was quite hard to sort of, I was like, when I was watching a video playing, I was like, can you walk in front? Oh, you can. And it's like, there's not a bit of depth. But here we have platforms at the front, very simple blocks, those kind of blocks kind of style, really easy to read. And the backdrop is kind of this shaded blue pattern in the back. And it's got a nice parallax effect, though, applied to it. So there's blocks at the front scroll around faster than the backdrop does. So there's a nice level of depth to this. And the levels here, whereas in the Amiga version, they're like, houses and things like that, and castles and mansions. Here, they just fall under ice, earth, and sand style. And this works well, because each style just is easy to read. And, you don't navigate in this space knowing what you can interact with. It is not a problem. And all of them as well have their own appropriate piece of music, which is good. All of those bits of music work well and help fill in the space to keep you in the game. It's the thing we said about Potsworth and Co. last week. If it had that, this has got that. It's all there. And it's got sound effects as well. So, we're talking nice bits of music, sound effects, nice graphics, easy to read, good controls, all fine. Well, we'll come to the controls in a bit. The levels, as you'd expect for the time, are tricky. And like the box says, 2,500 screens. That's a lot, isn't it? So with 70 of them to crack, this is going to keep you going for a while. The only issue I had with this was the controls, which I found to be a tad twitchy and sensitive. And getting PP into place sometimes to drill where I wanted into was sometimes trickier than I wanted it to be, especially where you have to drill down. So if you've got like blocks that you need to go down, you have to be stood on a block and drill the block next to it. You can't do the one, if you do that, there's another one below it. You have to find a way to be at a block to get to that one. It's tricky. So you got to go down in steps, and you have to sort of drill the top ones out, then drill the lower ones out. And obviously they're going to reappear, and you don't want to be there. So you need to move fast, and that could be a little bit of a problem. So that I found that tricky. So and died a few times by sort of respawning block. I said, I'm trying to place myself where I need to be. There's also the fact I didn't like the fact you couldn't control yourself when you're falling, but could whilst jumping. And you also lose inertia when you jump if you jump down a big gap as well. I thought, just let me control it. I think if I should fall off somewhere, I could be able to control it. Same as the Amiga version. She's true to the Amiga version, but I would have liked to have that control there. And I also found it was just a little too easy to fall off blocks when turning around. You just fall off, especially into water and things like that, where you're trying to position yourself. You just fall off sometimes. So those are little niggles, all right? But and because the levels are tricky and you've got obviously a timer counting down, those can lead to annoying deaths and timeouts and things like that. But you kind of get used to it. And so it has to be said, I thought this was a really good port from the Amiga, a really good port. Yeah, we've seen a lot of these platform games recently, but not one this kind of puzzly. We've not seen many like this. It's a solid example of the genre, but I think it gets a lot right. And it's got loads of content. I mean, 70 levels. Some of the comments said it gets a bit samey, true, but that password system is really useful, because I could see this as something you could keep coming back to, doing a level or two at a time as you worked your way through it. It's not one you just keep going at for hours and hours. You sort of play a bit, play something else, do it, come back to it. Right, I'm at level 31, like, let's have a crack at that. Okay. And I could see that being a thing. Given the grade inflation we've seen recently, the fact this only got 83% is low, but I think. This is a sizzler for me. It's a very well crafted and presented game. It's got a great tutorial level, loads of nice touches around the edges. The mechanics in it are really solid. They all work. The use of the different colours and keys and potions, traps, and all those kind of things. They're all nice to sort of navigate. The central premise of this is drilling. I mean, I was also reminded of the game Mr. Driller. I don't know if you've ever played that, like on the DS and the Game Boy. So drilling down is always sort of, enjoyable. And this kind of gets that a little bit as well. Visually and sonically, it's really good. And to think this got less than Titanic Blinky and the same as Big Nose from last week blows my mind. I know they were budget games, but this is far better. It's a far, far better game. Easily as good as Potsworth and Co. for me, which also got a sizzler. I thought this was a really, really pleasant surprise. I really enjoyed this and sort of was working through this. Got to about level 7 or 8, and we were getting really tricky by that point. I was just enjoying my time with this, navigating through the space and trying to work out where I needed to go. Surprise this. Pleasant one. Really enjoyed it. Best game of the week. What did you think?
Yeah, I agree. I haven't got a lot more to add, because I agree with you on everything that you've said there. There's a nice vibe to this, ultimately. It had instant curb appeal, didn't it? Because it had that kind of Dangerous vibe immediately. I really like the sprite design and the way it kind of works. There is a bit of muddiness around some of the controls here and there, but you you kind of have to let it go. I noticed a few glitches here and there as well. Not game breaking actually, but just odd where you sort of appeared in the middle of a block and stuff like that.
Right.
But that is a very minor niggle in what is actually quite a well-crafted and fun game. Take note all of the games where this could have so easily been just wandering around, couldn't it?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And take note all the games that have done that. It doesn't take much more effort to put a game into your wandering around, does it?
No.
And just the addition of having a thing that you can do and a purpose for the thing that you can do sets it heads and shoulders above the last 6 games of this type we've played at least. Mm-hmm. Because all of those didn't have the thing that you can do and the purpose for it. And without those two things, well, this you've got a drill and you drill into things and it allows you to pick things up and you pick up the diamonds and you scoot around. There was a nice speed and flow to the animation and character as well. It felt a really good frame rate on this. It felt like a fast experience. What you need. Mm-hmm. No wandering around slowly and methodically, and the tight quarters of the arrangement of the level was also to its benefit. It felt Boulder Dashy in that way because it's got that kind of vibe. And I like the look and feel of the level design as well. It is kind of almost a side-on Boulder Dashy type experience, but there's a little bit more, I quite like what I played. So without wanting to sort of, over-egg the pudding, everything you've described, I agree with. This is head and shoulders better than any of the other games we've played so far, and yet it has the weakest score generally, which I find inconceivable. This one should have been in the 90s. I know it's got 83, but this one should have been a sizzler in the 90s. Space Gun, way lower. Rabbit Shite, lower. And the Jetsons, even lower than that.
Yep.
So this is the kind of thing I would have expected to see. Yeah, there's spit and polish needed here and there, but there's a nice vibe to this. I really liked the UI at the top of this. It's really nicely done in the way that you've got this checker pattern, which is quite simple, but they've just put a slight underline underneath the scoring, which gave it a little base relief. It's a really nice way of creating a little bit of subtle lighting on top of some graphics. Very clever touch. And then the choice of colour, a nice yellowy colour on the dark. It sits and sort of sets it out. Yep. And that's what you need to do on these things. Now, I really like this. There are a few little niggles here and there, but I'm going to overlook them because they added game to the game. And that's what we needed because I'm afraid so many of these haven't had it. So it was a refreshing pace and the sounds and everything, all good. All good for this. I enjoyed the experience of this. And it did remind me of that, the other one that we played that was similar, sort of high-resi looking.
Potsworth, yeah.
Potsworth. That was another one that had more to it than just wandering around. It doesn't take much, does it?
Nope.
And when you do it, well, there's an interesting little game in here. I can see our patrons really digging on this one as well. I think there's quite a bit to like with this. I won't go as far as to say it was a super hidden gem, but it's certainly a gem amongst the turdstones that have been all the other games, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So I think this is, I won't say super powered classic, but I think there's a lot going on in there which is very admirable. And it's certainly, it's weird price point aside, it's certainly better than the significant proportion of everything else that's been of this kind of game genre. So go and try it because I think you'll find something to like in there because I did.
Yeah, same here. It's got a decent score on Lemon and stuff, yeah. But definitely sizzler material. It's an excellent example of its genre,
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And it does it well. But yeah, there we go. That's PP. What was it? PP Hammer and his pneumatic weapon.
Someone's got to have one.
There we go. I really like that. It was really good. After that, let's move on. We still have one game left to go, and then we're done with March. And Graham, it's down to you to tell us all about 3D Snooker or Championship 3D Snooker, whatever the hell that damn thing's called.
Yeah, Championship 3D Snooker. Wild, Adrian. Wild. Go wild in the country where the scores of Zap are absolutely free. 87%. You having a laugh? Are you having a laugh? $3.99 this was.
I don't know.
Zeppelin games, though. Coded by Stephen Walters. Now, he's done 3D stuff for plenty, hasn't he? Tilt. Probably most famous for Tilt. But he also did 3D Pinball and 3D Pool, the American 3D Pool, which shows a little bit, doesn't it, here?
Oh, just a bit.
And the graphics are also by the same chap, because that's what he do. Music here is Sonic Graffiti. They've also done things like Havoc, Miami Chase, and Plotting. It's pretty good, actually, the music. I'll give it that.
It's all right.
It's better than the loading screen, which is horror.
Yeah.
I found it quite terrifying. A giant cue ball with massive eyes and a really evil smile with a dicky bow. It's horrible. It's frightening.
It's
Don't
similar
like it.
to the one for 3D pool, though, isn't it? That was very similar.
Yeah, that's the style of it, but nah, it's not my thing. Gameplay-wise, okay, from the blurb this, Championship 3D Snooker is a superb simulation of this high-tension game with highly accurate three-dimensional play representation. The play action is controlled by a joystick or keyboard connected to the relevant port on the computer. Hitting the following keys on the opening screen sees the control method. So you got controls. Snooker. A one-player game can be set up playing against the computer with various levels of difficulty. Alternatively, a two-player game can be racked up to challenge an opponent in straight frames. The object of the game is to pot all the balls on the table in a set order, earning points for the player. Of course, that's snooker, isn't it?
That's snooker.
At the start of the match, a red ball should be potted first. Once this has been achieved, the player can nominate any coloured ball on the table except another red ball to earn bonus points. If the nominated colour is successfully potted, the player can then try to pot another red ball, and the red ball, coloured ball process continues. Good old red ball, coloured ball. Isn't it that? That's the rules.
Yeah. Yes.
Tells you the points value of the balls as well. I'm not going to do that because you probably know them off by heart. 1 for red, 2 for yellow, 3 for green, 4 for brown.
You're doing it. You just said you're not going to do it.
I know, but I thought I might as well because I didn't know you knew for sure that the 6 was pink and the 7 is. But somebody might not, Adrian. Somebody might not. Somebody might never have seen snooker in colour.
I'm just taking umbrage that you said you weren't going to do it and then you did it.
I know. Once all the red balls have been potted, though, Adrian, the player must then begin an attempt to pot the coloured balls in the specific point value order, which was
yellow, green, brown, blue, pink, black.
Yep. Red and yellow and green and brown, blue and pink and black. Fouls. Adrian, fouls. In Championship 3D Snooker, fouls can be committed in the following 2 ways. Poking your opponent up the arse with your pole. The old classic.
Technically,
the old
that's
tickler.
not a foul. That's just ungentlemanly conduct.
That's known as the whirlwind's tickle, actually, that, in snooker circles. Yes, it is, yeah. Okay. So that's white ball failing to hit the specific ball or any other ball on the table is a foul ball. And the other one is a white ball colliding with a non-required ball before missing the required ball. If you commit either of the above fouls, 4 points is automatically awarded to the opposing player. However, if a coloured ball with a point value of higher than 4 is hit by the white ball first, the value of the coloured ball is automatically awarded to the opposing player. Similarly, if the player is aiming for a coloured ball with a point value of higher than 4, it's snooker boring. It's just boring, isn't it? Misses the ball, blah, blah, value of the original coloured ball, blah, blah, blah. If a player commits a number of fouls, blah, 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 tournament. So that's another mode. And there's also shot selection, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. It's snooker. So once you got past the horrific title screen, you can choose from the menu. You'll choose 1 player, because I did. 2 player would be stupid. Although you could do that if you wanted, I suppose. If you wanted to challenge yourself. And then you're basically looking at the exact same screen that you did for the pool game, only it's the snooker variation. Slight variation of leg, I thought, on this. You've added little snooker legs to the table, haven't they?
They have,
and unfortunately, it also suffers from the problem of sizeage, because it still looks like a pool table in size. And I don't know about you, Adrian, but I've always found snooker tables to be massive, way bigger than you think.
Yeah, they are. They're 12 foot by
telly.
6 foot.
Yeah, but when you see them on the telly, you think, I don't know why they're struggling with that. It seems so tiny and wan and small and little on the screen, isn't it? When you get to a real size one, like we did that day, we were playing for hours and getting nowhere, because it's so far. So far to hit the ball with accuracy. I can't do that. It's amazing what they can do, isn't it?
It is.
There's 2 views to this game, essentially the way it plays out. There's the 3D view where the action happens, and there's the top-down view where the aiming happens, really. Around that is scattered UUI, which is just thrown around like a red break, like the break of a snooker balls. They're just scattered everywhere. The top left, you got points for the ball colour. Next to that is just his balls. Next to that, there's a number of shots. Over to the right, high scores and spin and power. Somewhere over on the bottom left, who cares where it goes? It's snooker. We can do what we like with the rest of the screen. It's just arbitrary. It says position the cue ball, then press fire. And then on the other side, it says red on. Red on. It sounds like something my dog used to do when I had a male dog when it was happy. Got his red on.
Either that or it's one of the spaceships from Star Wars attacking the...
Red on, yeah. Well, that's kind of an awful thought if he wasn't describing that, was he? He was describing his dog's got a lippy on in the cockpit of his X-Wing.
R2, what are you poking me with?
R2.
Red on D2.
Get off the internet. That's what Twitter's become now. What it's called. X, whatever it is. Anyway, so, I think we liked American Pool, didn't we, when we played it?
Did.
I thought we liked it. The 3D-ness.
We thought it was pretty impressive.
There's 2 views of the 3D, and the 3D view, which is exactly the same as the 2D view, only in the 3rd dimension. Still got the arbitrary stuff just scattered round the table. Doesn't matter about that. But you can view it from the front of the table elevation or the back of the table elevation.
Yeah, you press
cheap,
V,
isn't it?
Press V, don't you?
V, yeah. Is it an alternative view or is it just front to back, back to front? It doesn't matter. It's a view, isn't it?
Well, it helps. It helps if you're aiming up
and the balls, unlike the pool variation of this, so the balls are all flicky, aren't they?
Oh,
why are they
flickery.
so flicky? Why are they flicky? They weren't in the pool game. And I think there's not the full amount of red balls either on this, is there? It's not the full set.
No, but
it's a few short.
6 more balls on the screen than you have in the pool one, I think.
Yeah, but it doesn't handle them though, does it? It's flicky balls. And nobody wants flicky balls, Adrian. Nobody wants their balls flicking or flicky balls. It's unpleasant for all involved. But we did like the American pool variation of this, didn't we? It plays the same, exactly the same, only it's snooker. So the same gameplay. You aim with the joystick from the top-down view. You press the fire button for your power. It will shift to the 3D view prior to the shot taking place where you can choose the spin. And then when you do that, the shot will complete in the 3D view where the balls will move around in the 3D way, but not like they did in the American one. Flicky. Yeah, flickery. It's annoying. Annoying to do that. It really, I felt let down. I was thinking, this could be quite good if it's like the Tilt 3D and it's like the pool game. And when it started flickering, I'm like, oh, what happened, mate? You had it all cracked. You had the 3D bits sorted. What happened? One too many balls. That's all it was, wasn't it? Too many balls. And how many times have we said this to Gary over all those experiences he had? If there's too many balls in one place, nothing good's going to happen. No cues getting polished. Yeah, flicky. Lots of flicky, and potentially some cues going where you don't want them. A lot of chalking of the tip, not necessarily in a good way.
Yes.
Yeah, and so forth.
There's not many balls in pockets.
It's not as good as the pool game, this, is it? Simple,
No.
Simple as. It's flickery. It's a bit more annoying because of that. It don't feel like the physics is right in this, actually. The physics felt good and weighty, and the weighty balls is a good thing in a snooker game. We've said that many times. And it was in the American pool game, it was quite weighty balls. They felt they had like proper weight, and when went in the pockets, it had a good clunky sound effect. This kind of feels a bit more subtle, but not as good. The balls seem lighter, flickier, and less weighty. And they don't move around in the same way. And they get stuck on the sides, and the physics goes a bit wangy. Wangy physics in a snooker game, Adrian. Wangy. Did we want that? Did anyone want wangy physics?
We've seen that.
No, it isn't. It's unfortunate, really. That's all unfortunate. The dynamics don't work because the snooker table is too small for the space, and the balls are too flicky and not weighty enough, and the physics breaks because of that. And physics and snooker are one in the same thing. If you break the physics and it's flickery, I'm afraid the snooker's up the shitter. It's pointless. So the controls and the way the game plays is okay because that's the same engine as the pool game. The aiming and stuff, that's fine. That's still quite good. But the engine doesn't have the grunt to be able to control as much on the screen as it did previously because there's obviously less in that, which means quirks and bugs of the system appear. We don't like bugs in our snooker games. We don't. So I don't know. Maybe it's just that trying to cope with the 3D. I don't know what's causing that. But I clicked a shot thinking it was a sure thing to go in the pocket. The red ball sort of jammed in the corner of the center pocket and kind of wiggled around a bit and then just sort of went straight upwards. It was really weird. And it's like, that wouldn't have happened. Yeah, it was just something didn't go according to plan. And then all the balls started clicking and bumping into each other, but kept vanishing. I was like, what is going on? Not good that. So I don't know. The snooker has to have its physics right. Otherwise, it's not going to work. It's not going to be very good. And it doesn't really get good on any of the machines until you get to the Amiga version of Jimmy White's, really, for me.
Yeah, true.
Up until that point, snooker games were a bit crap. Then Jimmy White's came along and kind of reset the balance. And I had so much fun playing Jimmy White's. And of course, who's it by? The guy that made Arcade Plus, isn't it? Archie McLean. Of course it was. Because if anyone's going to do like the de facto best of something, it was that guy. He was amazing guy. This isn't that, though. Pity. From the background of the other 3D stuff the guy's done, this could have been a contender, couldn't it? Could have been a contender, but it wasn't. This was, I'm afraid, this was no Jimmy White, was it? This was Hurricane Higgins on a bad day, wasn't it? This, when he was staggering around, a bit pissed. Wasn't great, this. He was always seeing flicky balls, but for very different reasons. Lovely guy, though, but obviously troubled. I don't know. Snooker with a broken physics. That ain't snooker, is it? What did you think?
Nah, I've heard the same. It's basically a reskin of the pool game, isn't it? Zeppelin released last year, but for snooker, I guess that in theory is fine. Just doesn't work as well. And I've heard the same thing. Much more flickery than I remember the pool game being, and it's not.
Yep,
well, no, I don't remember. I went and played it. It's not. The balls are bigger in the pool one as well.
Yeah, big balls.
And they're not as smooth or fast as responsive here. Bigger balls, yeah, they go in better.
I like big balls, and I cannot lie, Adrian.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, whilst it's maybe fine in this kind of game, I guess the experience of playing snooker. I mean, yeah, okay, so it's not as smooth or fast or as responsive. Okay, fine. But as long as it moves all right. And that might be fine. The experience of playing snooker is just not enjoyable. It's a fast and pretty smooth pool game. You know, I checked and it's just not as good. It's just down to the fact there's too many balls on screen. 13 in comparison to 7, or whatever there was in the first one.
Never works in any context, does it?
You lose that. You've also got the nice little bits as well, like in the pool, you see them come into sort of the ball holder at the bottom of the table, don't you? You sort of roll into if you pot something. You don't have any of that in this. And like I said, those legs look weird. They look 2D.
Yeah, they do.
Weirdly. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think this was terrible. I didn't have any of those kind of weird bugs that you experience. It's still technically very clever, I guess. There are all those extra balls. They're clearly impacting on the CPU, which you just can't calculate them properly and keep them all in check. And therefore, I didn't enjoy it as much. It is probably by de facto still the best snooker game on the system because everything else has been pretty crap. I can't remember anything that was any good. But it's not the best balls, holes, and cues game on the machine.
No,
that's held by that 3D pool one we played. Yeah, it's a ball too far, isn't it? It's balls too far.
It is.
You push the balls too far. The machine can't handle this many balls at once, and therefore it flicks. It flicks too badly. So
it does.
Yeah. I was expecting good things, but yeah, it's too much for the machine. Clearly, 3D snooker is Jimmy White's, but
too many balls.
Too many balls. And there you go, on that ball note. That's it for March. That is it indeed. So this week we looked at Space Gun.
No, Space No Fun.
Yeah, Space No Fun. International Ninja Rabbits, which was just Ninja Rabbits on tour. The Jetsons. I mean, there's a level and some holes. Who knows if there's anything more?
Too many holes.
Down to AL82 Retro to sort of inform us. I don't know. You might hate it too. There's the best game of the week in PP Hammer and his pneumatic weapon by a long way. And then there's 3D Snooker, Championship 3D Snooker, whatever it is. And that's it. That's March done. What do you think about all that, Graham?
Well, I'm getting very tired of the archetype, let me tell you. But at least every now and again, a game does come along which sort of lifts it a bit. And thankfully, we had the Pneumatic Hammer game, didn't we, this time?
Yeah, so. We're definitely in platform territory. The Marios and the Sonics and what have you. I don't know if that's actually released at this point, but there's so many, isn't there? There's so many of these games. Yeah. Platforms were it was platforming central for the 90s, wasn't it? If you think about all the Mega Drive, all the SNES games that were platformers,
there's
loads and loads of them.
It's weird how we've sort of gone backwards, though. There's platforms, but they're platforms leaning into what conceit games. And what conceit games have, like we said last time, have been around as long as the C64, really, in one format or another. And they'd never, I mean, if you can't get the formula right by now, towards the end of the machine's life, they were doing it better earlier. There were so many of these games that did it better. I mean, goodness me, I'm thinking back to Spellbound, or there's hundreds of them, hundreds of games where we played it where you wander around finding stuff. Why go back to them and make it boring? I don't get it. Yeah,
the other thing as well, which sort of noticing as well, and I know it's the die machine, so it's just putting stuff out now if you really want to, and you're lucky if you get stuff. There's a real lack of experimentation in anything, isn't there? It's just everything's just the same.
No one's taking chances, are they?
No, just get someone to code this quickly for the 8-bit machines. Get a Spectre outside. There's still millions of them out there with kids still playing them, buying budget games. There were some games from the budget that were re-released. There was World Cup Soccer Italia 90.
I don't remember that being very good.
No, why would anyone buy that 2 years later?
Stupid.
For £4. There was Monty Python's Flying Circus.
That was rubbish, wasn't it?
It was dreadful, yeah. There was Ed the Duck.
That was being well drawn, but not very good.
It was basically really, really simple Rainbow Islands, wasn't it? And we said at the time this would be better suited to a budget game because it's a budget Rainbow Islands, and now here it is, and it's better suited to a budget thing. And there was also Switchblade was released.
Okay.
That didn't come out too long ago, actually. That was very red and grey, wasn't it?
Oh, yes.
Going underground. There's like that. There is, unfortunately, I've got no charts. And there's no crapverts. And that's kind of it. All we've got to talk about is what's coming up next month. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, another 10 games.
Okay.
For April 1992 in score order. So, we won't cover them in this order, but in score order, we have Budokan.
Okay.
Don't know about that one. Indie Heat, which is when Dr. Jones gets a little hot.
I was going to say, is that Dr. Jones has got, chafing.
Ooh.
Leather pants.
There's the also boringly titled Alien World.
Oh, it's going to be rubbish.
Space gun, innit? It's just 2 words, Alien and World. Well, it doesn't tell you anything. There's the weird Zoomerang.
Okay, that sounds like one of those quirky games that the developer thought would be a great idea.
Yeah, there's also Famous 5-1, 5 on a Treasure Island.
Oh, no.
I don't know what that's going to be like. We'll have a look.
Not good. It's the Famous 5. They weren't that good, are they? There's lots of lashings of ginger beer kind of thing in it.
Yeah, true. Lots of lashings of jam on toast. Then there's something called Moon Talk.
Okay.
That's TORC.
Moon Talk. Okay.
Yeah. They've stolen the famous Precious Moon Talks. Then there's something called Demon Blue.
Sounds like a porno manufacturer.
That sounds
porno
like
publisher.
It does. Or that sounds like hentai.
Yeah, it does. The latest from Demon Blue.
Yeah. Then there's Flip It.
Yeah, okay.
Could be anything.
From the same school as Zoomerang, I have a feeling.
Yeah, then there's Q-10 Tank Buster.
Okay, well, I've seen those fly. They're amazing aircraft, actually.
And then there's Jimmy's Soccer Manager.
No.
Who's Jimmy?
Jimmy White. Jimmy White. That's
Jimmy
right. That's right. I'm a soccer manager.
I'm hoping it's not Jimmy Savile's Soccer Manager. I really am.
I hope so. God, I hope not.
It'd be Jimmy Hill. Is it Jimmy Hill? Jimmy Hill's Soccer Manager?
I want it to be, it could be Jimmy Whirlwind White. I like the idea of having business cards with a little snooker image on it. And he's just saying, that's right. Like Moe's. That's right. I'm a surgeon. It's like, that's right. I'm a soccer manager.
So what's the strategy one? Just put the ball in the hole as quick as you can. That's the strategy.
Pot the Reds. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Absolutely. When you potted a red, go for a pink. Never go for the tough blue. What you on about, you weirdo?
What you on about, you weirdo? That's not a strategy. This isn't a snooker game. It is. It's not.
Gary Lineker says it's snooker.
Snooker.
Jimmy White managing Gary Lineker. Here we go. Jimmy's Soccer Manager. I mean, it's stupid. What stupid? Still got 40% though. It's the lowest score I've seen for a while, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's elevated. That doesn't bode well.
No, I know it doesn't. But that's it. That's our games for the next couple of weeks as we near Christmas. These will be out before Christmas.
They are.
I think, yeah. I don't know if we'll get a first May one out as well. I'm not sure what the deal is. But Christmas is approaching. We will be doing another Christmas cracker.
Aye, yes, we will.
We've got the brown sauce coming on for that.
We have. God help us all. God help the past. Save your screams until you see his face. And other movie lines that we'll discuss.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another movie poster taglines that are applicable to that situation.
Oh, poor Gary.
Don't put pity on him. He hates that.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah, he gets all frothy.
He does, yeah. He does. He hates it. He's like his mate Gollum. He doesn't like it.
He hates it.
What's
it got in its pockets?
He has got a bit like that, hasn't he, with his movies? He goes to see the movies regularly. He's always been a bit of a cinemaphile. I totally admire his stalwart refusal to accept mediocrity. He hates everything equally.
He just hates everything. We get messages from him, don't we? It's just, went to see this, rubbish. Went to see this, walked out, 20 minutes.
Rubbish.
Went to see this, rubbish. So this
with
crap.
Tron Ares, I agree with him. It is utterly, utterly dreadful.
Well,
that caused my teenage son to swear in front of me, which, it's one of those moments when you have a father-son moment when your 17-year-old goes, "F***ing hell, this is shit." I was like, I'm so proud of you right now. So proud of you.
Yeah.
He expressed frustration. Have you seen it yet, by the way?
No.
It's got the world's most boring chase in it. It honestly is. It's the most boring chase of all movie history.
Tron Legacy, if I'm honest, so I'm not going to bother with
just
Tron
imagine, right? Imagine the two light cycles, right? Not chasing after each other side by side, but in a
light cycle chase.
Because they're just at the same speed alongside of each other. So it's not really a chase. It's not even a race. They go exactly the same speed. It's just two people driving down a road. Yeah,
but they don't go the same speed, do they? In the original film, they can speed up and go faster as they do.
Well, this is in the real world, remember?
Oh, they lost their boost facility.
They're in the real world. They can only last 29 minutes, you see.
Oh, it sounds stupid.
For reasons of pure plot convenience. Let me tell you that.
I'm not watching this rubbish. I'm not watching it.
I think you should, just because it will. There's an orange moment in it, so you have to watch it for the orange moment.
Right, we'll have a discussion about this after the podcast, but we'll I'm not watching. Well, I might watch it, but not yet.
Save yourself 2.5 hours. I won't bother.
Yeah, I need to save my screams till I see its face, I guess. I think on that note, we're going to say goodbye to our listeners. I think that's it for this week. Like I said, we'll be back next week for April. We start April 92.
We do.
As ever, I have been Adrian Mills.
And I have been Graham. I still don't like the Jetsons, but I'm kind of feeling sorry for them now, Raddings.
And you have been listening to Damn Those Fucking Holes. And we will see you again next week. Graham's going to have a good time bleeping lots of swears out of this one. I don't know if he does anymore.
There's so many swears. Fucking big balls, big balls. That'll just be a big beep, 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 beep before we go. Beep. Oh, you had to drop that one in. Goodness me, that's the unforgivable one.
Goodbye, you motherfucker. We're off. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Zapped the Past podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the world of Commodore 64 games, as well as the music, films and TV from around the 1980s, driven, of course, by the issue of Zapped 64 magazine published at that time. We will return with a whole new batch of games and stuff to talk about next week. Until then, if you want to listen to or download previous episodes of Zapped the Past, and why wouldn't you, they can all be found on our website at zappedthepast.com, as well as being available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Deezer, Audible, Player FM, and, well, pretty much anywhere where we can upload them. By the way, we do always love to hear from our amazing listeners, so if you'd like to contact us about anything in the podcast or beyond, you can do so by emailing us at zappedthepast@gmail.com. We're also active on Twitter under @ZappedThe, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and most social media platforms. Just search for Zapped the Past and you'll find us. Oh, and if you like the podcast and what we're doing, please do like, share, review, rate us. It really helps. Something. Apparently, the Zapped the Past podcast is written and produced by Adrian Mills and Graham Raddings and recorded at Flaky Bits 2.0 Studio. All opinions expressed are those of the writers, and while we indeed love Zapped 64 magazine, the Zapped the Past podcast is not affiliated with it in any way. Stay safe, see you next time, and remember, we play these games so you don't have to.